Hello. Hi guys. I haven't been on for a while. Like everybody, these big energies coming in, wow, and they whack you. So we're all going through this upgrade. We're all going through an upgrade and, downloads and, well, taking in massive light. So our physical vessel's adapting, we're adapting. So it's pretty much most people have felt like they've been on a roller coaster. It's been up and down, and one day you're tired, pain, this, that. It's been difficult, and we're all going through a lot of clearing and purging things that don't beliefs, things that no longer serve us, negative belief systems, all kind of nonsense. So I've been going through that like everybody else. Wow, and I've been digging, really, like looking for things that don't serve me. But also, you get, it's like been a bit of a paradox situation, because you get to different levels in your astrals or conscious, well, not consciousness, because the consciousness doesn't rise. Your true self is not in the physical vessel, what you want to call. Yeah, as I say, there's a lot of insight. Anyway, it's actually hidden in plain. It's always, all these things have always been high and so obvious, so there that we just never contemplate them. We don't sit there and contemplate. It's like just the word source, right? All that is, all that was, all that ever will be. It even tells you in the Bible, creator of all things, right? All things. We just don't ever contemplate the thing. Think of it, source, the creator of all that is. Right? There we are. So it's telling you in very simple terms, and it's true if you go higher, that everything is source. And everything comes from source. Everything is part of source. So whatever you want to label, bad, evil, this person, that, those beings, because people think, oh no, that's only applying to earth. No, all that is, all of existence, the universe, what you want to see outside there, everything is only one. All that is, there's only one, that's it. But anyway, it's a little bit more. If you just contemplate that. Sit in meditation and contemplate that and see what comes up. It's like, ooh, all that is the one divine. That depends where you have it. As I say, I've been in a way lucky. Not lucky, I chose to reach the highest level of consciousness, or what you want to call, not samadhi, whatever they call them. I don't know, different names and different things. So that's always, I sought, and I stopped focusing on all those other things and external, and it was just a distraction, which I realized. It was just, everything is drama, distraction, oh, this, that. It's keeping you. Otherwise, you'd be spending all that time you'd be watching all these other dramas and news and truth movement. You would be going within and, learning more, going further up, put it that way. So I've been doing that, and a lot of things, different things in different stages, come to me. And I just had some more insight on the whole negative experience that I'm not going to go into too much because it's really good. Yeah, it's maybe a bit out there. But there's some that really, people are still having, depends where they are. When let's say the beginners, when they start off on their journey, they go through this whole, what you want to call the demonic realm, right? The demonic attacks, psychic attacks, entities, and then they go through of course, I've got. Then you go through that one, right? Especially if you're following the truthing thing. It depends what you're following exactly. If you think, oh my gosh, and you've bought someone else's belief. Because remember, anything that you've taken from the outside, other people, other videos, whatever, are telling you are not your truth. You are choosing to make it your truth. You have watched them and, oh my gosh, yeah, okay, I believe that one. Okay, those are the good, negative, those are the ETs. This is what they look like. There's a lot of it out there. A lot of it, is being fed. But that's a choice too. You've got to get your way. You've got to work your way up. And maybe some people won't in this lifetime. But let's say those that are still in this whole experience, we all bumped. I don't know who I can talk for myself, but most of us that have gone through this have been through that bumpy experience, right? It is fun. But I got more insight as you go up and you're pondering. You're not wasting my time following everything else that's going on and all the drama. I'm not listening to it whatsoever. So I'm putting all my intention on learning. It's my thing was with consciousness, reaching a higher level and knowledge and spiritual and manifestation. Anything that can help. It's positive, right? That's helpful. Nothing that's negative, because it's not going to help me. Or the past. The past is the past. It doesn't exist. It's only now. Yeah, yeah. So I found another thing. Now you look back, because now you've reached a different level, and you look back at that experience you had, right? First of all, belief. We know that now. Number one is belief. If you believe someone can curse you, if you believe someone can psychically attack you, if that's it. You're saying, oh well, I believe you got more power than me. I think that it's almost like you say initiation. It's learning to stand in your power. See, so there's a reason why we go through that shite. It's like initiation in a way, not for a negative reason, because it's all about experience, but the experience and the joy and the thing you get from coming out of it is you feel empowered. The whole idea is finding your way back to who you are. All that is, it's obvious anyway, but it's getting there, it's finding your way back, right? So in the beginning, oh no, I'm this poor person, I'm a human, everything is stronger than me and bigger than me and more powerful than me. So this is a shit you got to learn. But what you do, I felt now it would have been, if I'd known this, it would have been so much easier. All I learned then was nothing has power of you, and that was the end of that, yeah. But also I didn't realize a negative belief. You believe, like that's why I say I believed these things could happen to me, because I didn't know it. I hadn't gone through esoteric school. I had a guru, anyone teaching me anything, and did this awakening and bam. But there's more to it than meets the eye. So I've learned more insight into this, which I didn't know. One was if anyone you want a bit of insight into the astral as well. I've learned this. So you'll understand these things as well, what happened if you look back. Go and read, it's very useful for you to know this, and you will understand there's more to what you think in the astral, what you are seeing or perceiving, and you'll understand your experience. Some people will only get this when they leave their body or whatever, they haven't faced their... So, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, there's free audio versions on YouTube. Someone's, read them. Someone's read them out as an audio. So you can go listen to the Tibetan Book of the Dead, which is interesting. Now, this is what they do. They guide people, because I've learned lots of insight in my last, as you go up through whatever, chakras, consciousness, a more awakening, as I say, high level awakening, you learn more and more, right? So I've learned lots lately. Well, lots come to me. Oh my gosh, so much clarity, and it's like wow. But it's fascinating. So there's one I realized: belief. So, and I've seen it happen. People that believe someone can curse them, oh hell, it works, and they get affected. But people like me that don't know the biggest lot of bollocks, I never did, nothing. But that belief is the most important thing. And what people don't realize is they're still holding that. They haven't released the belief. So if you haven't say, okay, thanked it for its lessons and experience, but this belief, negative belief, whatever, it no longer serves me. It's not really negative. It was a learning experience. It was a comparison. Because when you get out of it, you feel, oh, well, I am, So if you hadn't, how would you feel empowered, right? Or strong or whatever else, or good, if you didn't know what it was and to feel disempowered? So your source is gaining immense, and you like growth and happiness and expansion from this. That's all it is. It's just everything's an experience you're here for. So belief, release negative belief systems, because you are still holding that. If you hold it as a belief system, that frequency, because we know law of attraction, frequency, resonance, everything's energy. Every cell in your body and everything, your energy field is holding it. Every belief, every thought, everything you've taken on is in your field. So this is what we attract. So people, when they wake up, don't realize. You start meditating and boom, or they get their awakening kundalini accidentally, however it happens to them, right? Start seeing lucid dreams, start seeing things. What they don't understand is two things. When they wake up, they start looking for that's the ego, the shadow thing. They think the shadow, they're projecting. So they're looking for the shadow on the outside. Oh, the bad guys, the demons, where's these evil things? They don't realize it's within. It's the things they haven't faced, right? So there's one already, and understand, we draw it to you because you are looking for the dark. And I've watched them out there, and I did the same thing. Oh, we're going to fight the dark, and you're looking for them, and you're actually focusing on it. So you are focusing on these entities yourself because you want to fight them. So remember, all thoughts, this is so entertaining there. It's very interesting. All our thoughts are transmitting. We know this now, and science has proven it. And everyone talks. Bashar tells you, Abraham Hicks tells you, many. And people are channeling this from their friends. They're not on this other parallel realities or universes, or whatever, planets. But they're not in our frequency or reality. Different parallels. So People are channeling this information, okay? Sorry, someone's... it's not important. My daughter's sending me messages. So, thoughts. So, what are we doing? You are sending a signal out. Dung, 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 dung. And you are thinking of these dark entities. Half people are doing this. They're torturing themselves. They don't realize it, right? So that's why they're having these terrible dreams, nightmares, attacks. You are focusing on it. There we are. You believe there's something out there that can get you. You fear. You're holding fear. So when you realize, when you start doing your what they call shadow work, dark night of the soul, you are letting go of fear, this, that. You are working through your own issues. Fear, this, that, nonsense. I mean, and there's so much of it, people. Your childhood, this, that, fear of whatever. You've been told by the church, fear of something. So this is what happens, right? This is why you're drawing it to you. Nothing can come in your experience. What people don't realize is these attacks, they are bringing it to them. But it's fine, because it's an experience. You've got to learn yourself. You've got to realize who you are. So you're thinking about, oh, these things, these bad things, these dark things, these whatever, and you're fearing them. That signal is going out, and they're like, oh, this is fun. Somebody, and that's what you're doing. The universe, oh, they want to play, right? Let's send them someone to play. And so you shall experience it. There's also a thing, us, them, fight. You are holding that, us and them, hate, division, judgment. All these things you are holding. They listened, you need to release, you need to understand. So you will have until you learn that. So those things you are holding in you, whatever else is holding those resonances, frequencies, hate, fear, judgment, anger, whatever else, right? Like you want to go and kill them, I want to destroy them, I want to this, I want to beat them, this, it's ego, it's all ego. You have that in you, and that's a fact. We all do, because that's what you were doing, looking for them, and we're going to fight them, and I'm this and that. This is ego. This is ego. Ego is the one who's frightened. He doesn't know who you are. The real soul, the source, the divine consciousness knows it's got nothing to fear. It's not even in the body. It's got nothing to fear. It knows who you are. You've just forgotten who you are. So you've got to get rid of that shit. And that's what the Tibetan Book of the Dead explains to you. So if you pay attention and go watch the Tibetan Book of the Dead, listen to it. You will like, ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. There's a bit more to that than meets the eye and the astral. That explains to you what pops up. Guilt, shame, They explain to you. These are emotions that the person or the being, the brain is still, well, the brain, when the brain's dead, pretty much, the soul, that doesn't carry all that nonsense with it. It's there. And oh God, there's too many things people are not going to see if you haven't got there for yourself. And I don't want to, because it's controversial, and people that haven't got that level will not understand, and they're going to think, oh, rubbish, no. Because as I'm saying, it's belief. Everyone, and it's fascinating. So these things, now you know, frequency and resonance. So there, you are choosing to search for these things. So you are calling them. Oh, I'm tuning out, looking for demonic bad ETs. I'm looking for, thinking about them. I'm thinking about them. Then I'm holding fear, anger, us, hate, division. You see, separation, all that is. They are part of source. So you are judging and not accepting them. You're not accepting yourself or part of source. You're saying part of source is not good. Part of source is bad. Do you understand? Separation, divide, you already hate, judgment, all these things. So these things you're holding in you, and you will keep drawing things like that have the same want to control, because the minute there's fear, these things out there, these ETs out there, or whatever, the lower realms, it's also parallel universes. Everything exists now, okay? Everything, there's no past, present, there's another thing. Everything is happening right now. That's how we can go to those so-called past, present, just different times, different experiences, beings, you name it. It's just everything and anything. Different frequencies, dimensions, but the only way you can tap into them, as people know, like psychics who want to go, like people like me, they want to go remote view or go back to the, say, past, future, whatever. How we perceive it. When I visualize whatever, I want to go there, see that, do that, whatever it is, that's how we go there. Remember? How do I get there? I'm thinking about it. I'm intending. I'm focusing. Poof, and I'm there. So this is what happens to people that are having negative experiences just the same. But what they don't realize is, so you're going to tap into beings when you've got fear, which all of you do, because, there's negative beings. They're going to, there's also, you see, you haven't sorted your shit out yet. You haven't got up there. You still haven't got, you'll get there. So you're going to look for that. You're going to look for that. You are drawing them to you. They cannot be in your experience if you're not, first of all, tuning into them. You're not on the same frequency. What are you holding in you? Fear, judgment, separation, all the same things. What are they? And what is it? Control. When you fear, you want to control. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to control the situation, control this, get rid of them. That's what they're doing. If so, anything out there, human or not, that has the same frequency, vibration as you, if you're focusing on it, even if it's a person, you'll draw to you. Hate, judgment, fear. So I'm going to control everything. I've got to control my partner. I must control my children. I must control what they think. This one, the world, it's just look at the world. We're trying to control each other. It's by fear. It's all fear. So I figured that one out. What we're not putting into the equation is your thoughts are signals. If you don't want, stop thinking about them. The more you think about it, the more you actually, it's very difficult to get out of the pattern because the brain's in that, it's going to constantly think of the dark, negative things. You've got to train your mind, 21 day, affirmations, sit there. First of all, switch all the rubbish off if you are following. But if you belief, thought, frequency, vibration, which explains in the Tibetan Book of the Dead, they are holding those things in them. This is why they're seeing those things. Those things appear because they haven't faced their own things. What it is attachment. We've got a negative belief and we attach, say your weakness is lust and you haven't dug it out or figured it out. Or your weakness is this, or addiction, or who knows, you know what I mean? Ego. You know, their ego, arrogance, conceited. But if you really go and dig. So there's some I figured out. There were some that came to me. Secondly, because I'm saying this is all fear and delusion. I see a lot in the when they first wake up. Now they're hunting for the dark. Oh my gosh, everything's up dark. Everything's out to get us, right? This is ego. But this is, it's projection. If you go out there, there's all over the internet. There's such projection out there. So they're looking for that. So if you do this, oh my gosh, you're part of them and you're part of, the paranoid delusion is bad. This is paranoid delusion, projection is really bad. Because it's shadow work. Everyone's going through the dark night of the shadow and they're projecting it out there. It's radical. It's really crazy. So there's a symbol on the dollar. And that's them. That's the elite. Oh my heavens. This was from a lot of these symbols. We didn't understand them. They come back from our ancients. They go right till the, as far as you can trace humanity back. There's a lot of symbols. You can see the spiral. Because this is us trying to remember time. Everything is in a circle. There's no such thing as time. The spiral. Then you had the pyramid with the all-seeing eye. Oh, that's evil. Those are, that was also nonsense fed to us. We were, in a lower state of consciousness and we forgot. We forgot, all of us. This is, the awakening is just remembering. All you're doing is remembering you are. That is a level of consciousness that's actually reached. And those people in those days, that's why they wore them. It was a sign of enlightenment. But it's not what you think, because people think, oh, it's a Horus, it's an eye of that thing. It's got nothing to do with any being. And that's why it's on the dollar. That all-seeing eye is a level of consciousness. It is the actual reality, the truth. So in the center is, who is all-seeing? There's just the word, is a hint, all-seeing. What consciousness can be seeing all? Only one, the divine, the one, the consciousness, source, the creator of all that is, sees and knows everything. The all-seeing eye. He is all-seeing. Source, right? But what allows you to see that, that's why people they equate the third eye to that. Through the third eye, you're able to get the truth, yes. But when you're able to see the unseen, go into the multidimensional, which everyone's waking up to on the planet now. But that is source, all-seeing eye. And anyway, I'm not going to go into much. That's a level you'll have to get. And when you get, as people know on their chakras or as they wake up, they will get different, they will see different things in their astral. As you go up to different chakras or whatever else, you get these things. It's like stages. You reach certain stages in your levels, right? That is one stage, and you will see that for yourself. It's not quite as that, but you'll know exactly what it is. I'm not going to say anymore. You'll know exactly what that is. It's like, oh my hell. That's the ultimate truth. And that's why those beings were called the enlightened beings. And that information's always been passed down to a few. Jesus is one of them, but they took that out and hid that. They were very enlightened people. They were enlightened beings. A lot of the Buddhas, yogis reached that, and they've physically ascended with it. They've left their physical body. They pulled the energy out of the body and just left. They can control when they leave their body. How many people have control over when you'll die? You decide, I'm going to die today. I'm leaving now. And they do. They literally do. Those are people that have reached that stage of enlightenment. They can control when they leave their body. There's many of them on the planet. Not that, the West doesn't know too much of it, but there's many. There have been tons of them on the planet. It's just not, put out there in the Western world. But it is a stage. So that's what that whole thing, and they've now made it, but this is what I'm saying. This is the shadow work. This is like a repeat of the witch hunt, the Crusades, when they went around burning all the witches, or it was this and that. It's the same nonsense. The stoning, they're evil, that's bad. Ooh, we go. It's fear. It's all fear. It's all the egos, delusions and paranoia. Especially if you've got so much shit in there to sort out. They're unstable. The energies are very unstable. So that pyramid with the eye in it has nothing to do with Illuminati, with Horus, with ET, with anything. No. Those ETs, like many people are channeling, had reached that level. They've evolved past us. That's why they came here to sort of teach us about crop growing and things like that and help us out a bit. They'd reached that level. And as many people knowing channeling beings, they've evolved past us. They were much older than us. Very much, much been in existence much longer than, let's say, this version, this game we're playing as human. And many of you that have woken up and traveled through different times and distant planets and whatever else will know that. You've had many lives on this planet, off this planet. Well, you're tapping into parallel realities. And this is what people are doing as well, that are communicating with other beings. You're tapping into a different dimension, a parallel reality. That's all it is. And depending on what you're focusing on, your beliefs, your frequency, and what you're holding, that's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to tune into. Hi. Hello. Yeah, but it depends where you are. This is what you're going to tune into and get, you see. So some are tuning into this and tuning into that and facing your fears and overcoming them. Big time. So so what people don't realize, when you sit, I didn't know this either, when you sit in meditation, and when, of course, we sit in and then doof, we go on a thing. Well, if you're in such a deep trance anyway, you're not even thinking. Your brain's kind of switched off and you're in another whole, you're gone. It's not like you're in control of the meditation because there's no thought. You're just sitting there. Pretty much, yeah, it's just vision. Well, I don't know, it depends on the person. But yeah, you're tapping in, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's an experience. You're tapping in. It's fascinating. The more I learn, the more I look into it. But that's another thing. So everything they're going around is, those are evil. Because especially on what I notice the algorithms do. When I made a video, and I noticed this is happening all the time, and I upload it to YouTube, what it does is, it looks for hand movements. So I'm doing this. When it uploads a video, it'll have the picture of the video for some reason with my hand there, whether it's doing this, wherever I'm talking, because I'm very expressive. I use my hands when I talk. My kids know. So always one of the pictures I'm going, because this is my, get the point. This is for me, but that I'm saying, this is how paranoid and delusion people are. So now what I was saying like this, when you say yes, okay, like a diving thing, when you do diving, it's this for okay, you get it. Yes, it's get the point. I mean, spot on. This is what it's for. But anyone does it now because of this other nonsense is, paranoid. It's the new age thing. It's actually when you sit and meditate, some people, depends on exactly, but this is how you see it. It's lack of knowledge and massive fear because they haven't worked out through their shadow and their death of the ego yet. This is a mudra, or a thing that and you can look at the old statues when they're sitting meditating, or the old Buddhas, the ancient prehistoric statues. They're sitting meditating. What are they doing? This was closing their energy, apparently keeping their, who knows, apparently just to keep, that's what I'm saying, depending on where you're getting your information from, their prana or whatever, from going out, keeping this energy closed or something, who knows, in a circle, whatever. But there's many of these, hold it like this, do this, but that's what I'm saying. These are the elite, there's the Illuminati, this is them, that's, those signs, it's like, wow, people. And I was just as bad. I remember when I was watching, when I woke up, because wow, did I have a lot of that in me. I watched the Olympics 2012 British Olympic Games, and that was like, wow, very esoteric. With the signs and everything, and with the Freemason signs, and so everything you say. So immediately you watch that and you think, holy shit. And I remember watching the opening ceremony of CERN. Now this was interesting for me because CERN had an opening ceremony in 2006. Now for a normal person that doesn't understand, who hasn't reached, hasn't gone through, and I'll say on the lower astrals, lower dimensional, lower frequencies. Man, everything's scary and demonic and bad, right? I mean, you haven't got there yet, so you're not. Because the knowledge unfolds as you raise and clear, as you go, so more comes to you. So I saw that and I was like, holy shit, these people are planning this. And of course, it's been fed out there that they're the bad guys and they're opening this and this is what caused all this because they made a hole and so boy, they were the bad guys and they, this was it. And I was, oh my. I fell for that one totally because I'm looking and projecting it's like everybody out there. So I was like, I fell for that whole story because I'm just buying someone else's because there's got to be a bad guy. Yeah, I don't trust anyone. So I watched that ceremony, but I didn't understand it, obviously, because I hadn't even reached that level of consciousness yet, right? Yeah, it's so funny. So I hadn't reached that level of consciousness. So when I watched that, I was like, holy shit, look what they're doing. They're trying to get in. I thought they were they were telling us, this is a whole movement that's trying to scare the shit out of everybody. That should tell you, first of all, they're feeding in the fear. But because you're in fear, you don't realize that fear is the problem. It's fear, it's already a telltale sign. Like, switch it off. That is dark. That is a dark energy. You are. But because you're on that frequency and resonance, you're going to be a good match to it, which I was. I bought all that shit, hook, line, and sinker, and I was, oh my gosh, look at these guys are doing, and this is demonic, and they're trying to do that and let these things in, and people are trying to escape. If you watch it, go and watch it. But when you reach this level of consciousness and you've gone through those astrals and things, you understand exactly. What they saw is exactly what was going to happen, the evolution which is happening, the great awakening, the shift. All that ceremony shows is they knew about the shift. The whole of humanity is first of all going to jump a different dimension. As we know, the Great Awakening, we are going up, what they call New Earth, Ascension. The whole planet, everything is going up with it. That's it. And that's what they show you. We moved from that into 4D. And you can see in the thing, these people trying to jump up and coming down because as we were, this is part. As you rise up, you come down because you haven't stabilized yet. You're going through the different levels like ET and demonic and this and that and shadow work and da. So this is what you're doing, yeah. You're not, but we hit, and that's all it was. And then you can see what's happening now. Everyone's into the shamanic thing and this and that and earth. And this is exactly what they saw coming, the new earth, the evolution, the great shift. But it was represented very esoteric, and of course, not having an esoteric background and knowing any of these pagan things, oh my gosh, this is all. but we got to go through these things. So I've got so much amazing insight. You're going back because you also, you sit back now and you listen to the Buddhas. You see, no one had. It's not like we've been assigned a personal guru. That would be fantastic, wouldn't it? So you know what the hell's going on. It would be amazing if you had your own guru. Very useful. Well, maybe in a way, because then it depends on their teaching. It's very much that's another thing. A lot of stuff, so much has come to me. Wow. Yeah, Atlantis, yeah. A lot has come to me. It's so weird. A lot of shit has come to me lately. Wow. I mean, actually a huge amount. I'm like, wow. And then you hit another level. And then it's like a paradox, because then you're like, oh, wow, now so a lot of people say, I want to get out of here. But when you realize the truth, it kind of is, there's an old Chinese proverb, very wise Chinese proverb that says, be careful what you wish for, because you might get it, or you will get it. And this is true. There's so many revelations have come to me, like the word being spoken. And people really don't realize the power of the word. They don't realize they're actually manifesting. Because it's not happening immediately yet for them, because it takes a bit of time to come in, because they might now be, I say, you're sending out thoughts and I want this and that, and then you forget about it and you go off and then it manifests, and then what happened here? And I don't want that, because now you've already moved on, you want something else. People don't realize, and that really came to me. I was like, they have no freaking idea that their thoughts at least are manifesting, and The power they have, they don't know because they don't know who they are. They literally can't remember. You do not know how powerful you really are. And this is the thing of them, focusing on all these dark negative things. They are the only ones that are keeping it here. If all of them if they didn't want to see the end of all this, what are they moaning about, right? This elite, whatever. If they stopped following all the shit completely and did not listen to it and take it out of their belief and started manifesting. I see this perfect earth, and she's perfectly, whole, abundant. Sometimes people should start. They love to manifest money. This is ego. But when they do their manifestations, visualize Gaia as absolutely clean, pure, no pollution. The pollution is gone. Abundance of fruit. We've got abundance, like the oceans, the fish, the vegetables, the trees. I mean, life is just, we visualize as perfect, clean, whole Gaia. You will get it. But no, everybody's so busy following the truth movement, or this pillar, that thing, and whatever other nonsense. And go, we don't want. They don't realize they are drawing it. They are only ones that are keeping the negative, what they see outside, the negative things, because it's already manifest. You can't change what is here now. But if they want to get rid of the so-called problems they're moaning about the world and this, they control whatever. First of all, the control's on them. And that's why they're drawing it to the expense, because they're holding the same thing. We are trying to control them because they're trying to control us. You see, it's the same. Everyone's trying to control everyone, right? Clean up their shit. If they switch all that, problem would be solved, because you clean up all the stuff in you. That's, first of all, not drawing anything like that in your experience, which is the world, which is the community, society. Everybody wants, no, it's not me, no, it's them. But that's a level of consciousness. See, that's it's interesting, fascinating there when you're working your way up and you look back and you're like, wow, okay. But they don't realize they're manifesting it. They believe this nonsense that these people have power of them, or going to do this, or control that, or are bad, whatever they want to believe, right? They are focusing on it all the time. That's all they're following and sharing, and oh my gosh, and angry, and this and that, all these things. They are keeping it here. A new earth would be for the whole of humanity. We would be sitting on a pristine, beautiful, clean planet with abundance of food, lovely community, caring, lovely, sharing people. You visualize the government you want. It's manifesting. Whatever in society you think you want, this beautiful, not a top-down, but more of a community government or whatever, smallest broken down scale, whatever. You would have it. Absolutely have it. If the entire planet, we could get them all coordinated, this is why there's not. This is why it's going on. It's so clever. It's broken up. You've got this side, or they call mainstream, pushing this out. Both of them are actually achieving the same, though. People don't realize. If they look at it, analyze it carefully. The one is saying, this is it, but you've got to do this because they're trying to do this to you. And they are actually pushing the people in the same direction they want them to go, but just different avenues. So they've divided the people up. This is why they're not manifesting a new earth. Because there's so much shadow work and projection and division, and because they haven't done. And the more they stay in this, the longer it's going to take to change the planet. The faster they will see a result is when they go within. Because the more they go within, these things will be shown to you. You've got to work through your astrals, work through that. You consider meditation. You have the power to direct your energy and focus to manifest and change the earth. And we have a coordinated, which is proven in science. Everybody knows this is what amazes me. They know in science that they can prove in mass meditation, a focus can change things physically and do this and affect everything and whatever. We know that. We did it in Uluru. But yet, you cannot get them, everybody, no, we've got to. They're still focusing on what's manifest. You cannot change the actual that's manifested here. Because they're focusing on instead of in the astral, that's where the real power is. That's why meditation, here's a classic example. When you're in that state, not a 3D state, here and I'm shouting, that's not going to do anything. You have no power. When you're acting as a human being, in a body and a me, myself, I, you have no power. No power. You cannot change or manifest anything. When you're in alignment in meditation, like we all know, and direct alignment, and pulling, channeling through, you can heal. You can send energy. Most people are using it for what they think is fighting the dark, and they're fighting themselves. And they shall stay there until they get wherever they have to. They're not, they haven't done that. Maybe that's also different. See, we all want different experiences because they're all that is. Source doesn't want to play one game. Source has got playing through many different angles, perspectives, to experience many different angles and perspectives. So we're going to get there slower. You see? So, yeah, it's a funny paradox. Because if you get up there, you realize, well, all that is, you have no fear. Nothing can come to anybody that's paranoid about they're going to be trapped in any of this nonsense. Because they just haven't got there yet, so they don't understand. They think they can be trapped. They think their soul can be trapped. They think all of this stuff. That's what I'm saying. I've got control. You're giving your power away. Only you. Your bloody thoughts, what you're holding in you and what you believe is exactly what you are manifesting and drawing to you. End of story. You are creator. You are giving. You are creating it. And Dolores Cannon, there's so many people, if you listen very carefully, pay attention. What we don't do is pick up little things. There's lots of words in there they tell you. There's little hints all the time that we miss them. Because the ego is focusing, okay, I just want to manifest. We're just listening for the ego's need. I want to manifest money or a tree or a boyfriend or whatever, right? This is all we're thinking. That's another reason why you've got to get through the levels. Because if you're given that power when you're in state of ego, you do damage. Because your ego, you're doing it from ego. You can do no good. So you have to work through your shit, your shadows, your divide, your anger, your judgment, your hate, your this, your that, the duality, all this nonsense, in order for you to have power. You don't see these Buddhas and these people that have attained proper enlightenment, that are able to leave their body, trying to manipulate, control, do anything, play party tricks. Oh, look, I can shake my spoon and float and do that and that. They don't. No, they're very humble. They're very quiet. Because they understand all. They've got that level where they understand everything. And that's another paradox as well. Because then you're like, oh. So it doesn't come that easy. Because when you get to a certain level, it's like, oh. Yeah. So this is why people don't normally, they say that what they say is, you see, there's a lot of hidden things, like the Bible says, those that see the face of God don't live long, right? No, they don't. People that reach enlightenment, or there's a certain Buddhas, and there's some of them very young, whatever they're called. There's different names for it. Master, Marty, this, that, whatever, right? They do. They leave their body. Why? Because your energy can't stay in the physical vessel, or what you call a physical vessel. So I say, you gotta be careful. What's the point staying in the game? The game's over. You know what the game is. You know it's a game. You understand everything. So you can't play. You become a non-player in a way. You see, in this game of human, there's no point you staying in it. Not in this lifetime anyway. If you come back and you come back veiled again, yes, you can play again. But once you've understood and reached the whole thing and know exactly, you reach a different paradox, and it's like, oh, wow, then it doesn't matter. It's like, oh, well, what's the point? Why do you think those people don't care? They don't go work. They're not trying to get lots of money and ego, whatever else. It doesn't matter what they do. They understand that's why it becomes kind of pointless. The game is over. And this is why they leave the body. Because they've activated that top chakra, and the energy actually starts moving out the body. I think even Sadhguru discusses it. Well, he tries to actually put people off. He tries to that's a fear thing. When someone says, oh, you mustn't do that, you shouldn't do that. For me, that's another old earth sub thing. Fear and trying to tell, that's nonsense. People do what they want. If it's your time to be, if that's what you seek, and if it's your time or your whatever it is, whatever game you're playing on this earth, right? If it's your time to wake up, you've done all your things, you will wake up. And if you're intending and focusing and asking for that, or whatever it is, you will reach that. So yes, they don't leave. They don't normally stay. They die. Yeah, that's what I shut myself because I thought I was going to die. When I got this one level, because, there's no guru teaching you. So I saw some things and I heard, oh my gosh, okay, when you reach that level, soon after those, as people leave their body, I'm like, oh wow, shit. Actually, last night I saw that. The first time ever, I actually saw how they do it. And I was like, oh my gosh. Now, for the first time ever, understand how you can actually voluntarily, willingly leave your body, like ascend, out of this earth game, put it that way. And that was like, oh my gosh. But then I decided, no, you know what? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a paradox, right? Yeah, as much as I want to go. Because if you're not there, you're not there. But it is a paradox. Because when you get there, then you're like, oh. It's like, now what? Should I stay? Should I go? That's what I'm saying. Because, it's a paradox, actually. Because when you you see the truth of this whole, the Maya. Let's see. You're aware of the Maya, right? And you see, when you get to that all-seeing eye perspective and you're like, oh, shit. This is what it's all about. And last night, I didn't sleep much last night. I was lying in bed. My mind, I was busy. A lot was coming down, because I've been, And then you're like, oh, and shit. Because before I'd got the Lotus Throne thing. So I had seen the truth of who I was and whatever. Why, you've got to reach that stage, people. You can actually see the actual, and you'll understand. What they call the Maya is this whole belief that you are human and everything, all this stuff, right? How it's going on, what's going on. But it actually came to me yesterday, and I was thinking about it, and I was a little bit tempted. I was like, no. Because then you're in a paradox, and should I go, shouldn't I go, whatever. And if you hold no, either way, it doesn't matter. Yeah, as long as so I'm going through a bit of I'm trying to assimilate the new knowingness, because you know it, but it didn't really become my truth as such. I'd seen it and I got so excited. I made a video actually after I came out of that meditation, after I got that Lotus Throne thing. I was so excited. I was like, oh, holy shit. But I didn't quite say what it was. But then I didn't, as the Buddha say, you're supposed to sit on it and let it sink in, like contemplate it. Because I was so, the mind got in, I didn't contemplate it. So I didn't fully embody it or accept it, right? So I didn't really anchor it in, put it this way. But anyway, so now it's becoming more and more of a it is my truth now. It's not like, it's just like, it's a knowing. You just know. It's like, oh, okay. So then last night I saw, and I never understood how they managed to, like these Buddhas, a lot of them some of them actually leave, like they say in the Bible, the guy that turned into pure light, right? Poof, just vanished, in front of Isaiah, whatever it was. He just puffed into it. But a lot of Buddhas do it. They'll sit there, literally disappear out their body, and there's just maybe a bit of skin and hair left. They literally they disintegrate, basically. They go, poof, evaporate, really, okay? And people talk, there's another one, the government's trying to do it, of course, Well, they are, actually. It looks like I think they've got it right anyway, because they got all the stuff interpreted from Egypt, and it was underneath the Sphinx. They had that underneath the Sphinx a long time ago. So there's information there to teleport. They're using technology to teleport people, okay? How to be able to, move the things and move someone somewhere else, right? Teleportation. But this is kind of not really. We don't actually need what we're still thinking is, a lot of people are still in the illusion that we had lots of technology back in Atlantis, and we didn't have technology, actually. No fancy machines or anything. We had higher consciousness, higher dimension, higher frequency. We use sound, and that's how we managed to do things. You didn't need machines as such, you know what I mean? They had their consciousness. They could manifest shit and change things. Some of them had control over physics because they were enlightened. Those beings had reached that higher level. And so there's a lot of, anyway. But I saw how they do it. I realized how they do it. I was like, oh wow. So you can, if you want to leave your body, pull yourself out of here completely. Yeah, but they say you hit a paradox, because then you're like, well, should I, shouldn't I? Yeah, whatever. Anyway. Lots coming to you. It's interesting, as you go to different, if it is, which is fair enough. If it's your path to leave, it's your path to leave it. It doesn't matter when it's like, whoopee. Yeah. It is fascinating, hey? Well, not nothing, but that's what I'm saying. I also discovered, though, we're reaching now, there's all our old scriptures, right? That was passed down. Say the Vedas and Sanskrit, you know, whatever. We got all these things. The Tibetan Buddhists, right, have got all these things. This was also old knowledge in an old time. Some of it's quite relevant in an old time, in an old frequency, and everything else. But that was an old paradigm. We have moved into a new paradigm. Source wants to expand the game. This game now is changed. So there we played that game. So that yes, there's a lot of useful information, that knowledge that we get from the Buddhas, from Sanskrit, from the yogis, as they say, there's to reaching enlightenment, to be able to leave the, ascend, right? Ascend the human game for good. Like you don't have to reincarnate. There's a lot of it in there. Absolutely, there's a lot of it in there. But we've moved into a new paradigm because half the humans, they were making the game unpleasant for Source because everybody hated it and wanted to leave and die and thought they were trapped here. Because we were in a very dark, dense energy. We were very disconnected from who we were, from Source, right? So now it wasn't fun. So now Source has changed. We moved into a new time, a new paradigm, where everybody's waking up. Take note, take slower than others. Everybody's waking up and higher to who they really are and can manifest. So game on earth will become fun because people will enjoy living when they realize they consciously create their reality. Now they'll know, oh shit, I can do it. So now instead of, oh no, life is so blah, like Abraham Hicks was come here. Now if you listen to Abraham Hicks Bashar, and I compared them because I listened to a lot of these yogas and lectures and things, there's a lot of, they're all saying the same thing, but this is one level up. So humans have just shifted a level up. They're saying the same thing. If you listen very carefully, they're not denying the actual reality. But most people listen to Abraham Hicks, they listen to the things they're trying to manifest. I listen to so much of his stuff constantly. So there's there's a little tip in there, tip in that one. Anybody and everyone will tell you the same thing. They say they call inner being, higher self, or an extension of Source. All that is. So there we are. So you have the same power as all that is. People just don't realize. You are manifesting. So they've come to move us into a new paradigm. Because the old ways, you've got to be humble, you've got to be this, you've got to be, so we don't have to be anymore. That was wrong to do that, it was wrong to be this, you know what I mean? There's humanity, depending on the level they want to be on and what they're playing, we're moving into a new paradigm. So yeah, as you see, love, happiness, joy, peace, more as your true being is love, joy, happiness, that's your true essence. So now humans, we can actually begin to get out of this victim mentality. All that other stuff, I actually saw, and I clicked last night. This whole, there's an alphabet letter movement, right? There's a movement out there that's telling everybody who the elite and the dark are, about all of this nonsense. What is it all? Victim mentality. They're perpetrating fear. Something, they've got control over us. They can do this. They're doing that to us. They're the bad guy. You see, it's division, judgment, and victim mentality. They're keeping people in victim mentality. That's what I'm saying. All of it's a distraction. Every single bit of it. Because they would become obsolete if people actually rose high enough in consciousness. There would be no need for any of them. You see? There we are. So they're trying to slow the process down to keep control because they're fearful. That's all. So they're selling different, it doesn't matter. I don't want to go into that just really, it's a game. It's all a game. It's all good. And that's another thing. When you get to a certain level, then it's a paradox because the whole thing's a paradox. So sometimes you think, and they say that once you become enlightened, you can't go back. There's no going back. You can't say, I don't want to be enlightened anymore. I mean, what are you going to, you can't. But I don't think it had really, I had seen it when I got to that lotus throne, but I hadn't, and I got so excited, I hadn't grasped it. Until I got another level, and then it's like, oh wow, anyway, and then it's like, wow. So it's fascinating, like everybody else, I'm going through my own, you're sitting on like a crossroads because you've got the old teachings that say be humble, do this, do that, do that, do that. And then you've got, say, Abraham Hicks Bashar. There's also a lot. Listen, take note of what Bashar says there, people. Very true. You really do create your own reality. And last night it was so clear to me. I was like, holy shit, you don't realize how powerful you are. If you realize how powerful you are, as even Dolores Cannon hints, people just don't take it literally. I don't think we need to contemplate. You don't realize how powerful you are. You'd be so careful of every single thought that you think. You'd be like, oh shit. You'd make sure. And this is why they chant. A lot of people say this is why those religions cheat. When you're starting off, you've seen the Buddhas and these other things. They chant da 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 all the time. Why? It's the same as 21 habits, like manifestation, I'm good, retraining their brain. They're learning to quieten the mind, because otherwise, when you're doing something, and that's what they tell you, I think even Joe Dispenza tells you, when you're doing something or singing, the mind can't think because it only focuses on one thing. So the mind is focusing on the singing. So whether you're praising, that's why they say, sing, chant, praise, God, whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter what mantras, it's to stop the constant of the mind. Half of the West can't meditate. Why? Because the mind, it gets, you think, you pay attention. You don't even realize. I was doing the other day, okay, I'm going to do mindful vacuuming my house, right? 20 seconds, I realized, oh shit, my mind had gone off already on another, and I'm doing mindful vacuuming, and before I realized, my mind had really gone off somewhere else. Why? Too much online content. You're listening to constant stuff, and this is another thing they're doing. They're purposely, these movements, truth movements, are feeding people so much shite. It's actually like a Hollywood production going on there. We'll tell them, and oh look, it happens. We'll tell them, and oh look, it happened, because it's a play. They're doing it, and so they know what's going to happen as well. But it's keeping people's minds so busy, which is making it even more difficult for them to reach a higher level. Their mindful vacuum, it didn't work for long. The mind was gone. I was trying to vacuum, and I was trying to, okay, because that's what the Buddhists do. It is nice if you actually if we get used to listening to things, being online and watching videos, it's just constant noise and TV, something. Rather listen to that frequency music or something like that. And this is why they did it. This is why they do it when they start off in these schools. It's chanting and meditate, is to quieten the mind from constant thoughts. See, the mind stays in and out of thought, which is what tortures you. Is that, worry and fear and this and that, and the negative thought patterns. Now, Bashar is a very good one to follow on that and say these things. So they have great wisdom in those things, but humanity really is moving into a different paradigm. So yes, those Vedics, those Buddhas have great teachings and great wisdom, but they're also a new paradigm that humans are moving up to and giving access to more than we had in the old paradigm, because we've moved into a different dimension. We're going back up now, but with the same, with analytical brain this time. And not, the whole idea is now to be more in tune, so that it's not the ego that, never mind, I don't want to go into that, because that's another whole paradigm. If you listen carefully to Bashar and Abraham Hicks, listen carefully. There's a lot of videos out there and shorts people have made, and lots of people sell pusher stuff. But if you listen carefully, you'll realize your thoughts aren't yours either. And that's what I said, this whole era of the Kali Yoga, what they call about the Kali Yoga, the karma, is over. That was the karmic era. We've stepped out of karma. Because first of all, you'll understand, as Abraham Hicks says, you creating your own shit. Nobody's doing it to you, you're doing it, drawing it to you. That's a level we didn't understand. That whole era of Kali Yoga, we've come out of. We're not going in there. Humanity has been given, we moved into a new paradigm. But Bashar talks about that, he channels that. Daryl Anker talks about negative beliefs, and my goodness, is you won't believe how many you've got. Or there's one, the government, they bad, they just corrupt. If we carry on thinking as our government is corrupt, as the world is bad, and these people are trying to control us, that's exactly the world we are keeping here. So people are so quick to manifest. They're following these things. You want to manifest this, but they don't realize, have you screened your beliefs? What are you manifesting of the world? You still see it's polluted and bad and this and greedy and corrupt. Then we are still holding it here. We are not going to manifest a new earth if we still sit here. We don't clean up our frequency and vibration, judgment, hate, this, that, We're seeing everything as bad. Everyone is unhelpful. Here's an example. Yeah. Here's an example. I went to the shop. I had such fun. I made a short video. Was it yesterday? Yeah, I think it was yesterday. I went shopping to get my groceries. When I run out now, eventually have to, I go, okay. So I go shopping and I set intent, all right, to go and spread light, love, everyone you come in contact with. And I set also everybody, I'm getting out of the negative, is loving. Everybody I interact with are loving, kind, friendly, helpful, collaborative, people. I see people, society, as loving. That's what I'm projecting, and that's what will happen. And when I go shopping, that's what I get. Pay attention. Start practicing it. You don't realize what you're doing. So we've got to stop seeing, if we don't want to see ugly government, corrupt, this and that, whatever. Stop saying they are, seeing it, projecting it, you're keeping it here. It's a cycle going over. You are creators. You are part of God. You are doing this. So when I go shopping, I'm like, wow, they're lovely, they're kind, they're helpful, they're fantastic, they're friendly. And what are they? Absolutely that. When I even got back, actually, to the lift, I got to the lift, and I had some bags. A lady was coming out. I have no clue who she was. I've never seen it before. Oh, well, you got lots of shopping. Let me help you. And she started carrying my stuff to the lift for me. And this and they get to help me, this one and that. It's what I'm saying. Because I had drawn this to me. I had that frequency, vibration, and resonance. You get yourself up to joy, happy, and I'm walking around. I had such an amazing shopping. I was manifesting like that. Wow. I was having fun with Source, all that is. It was literally walking around and okay, I'm going to get this and I'm going to find that and I'm going to get that. It was, and I set this intent. I'm going to go and I'm going to have, the shopping is going to be ridiculous. I'm going to find everything I want on a special. Everything is organic, good, this. I'm going to get such fantastic prices, massive deals, this and that. And everything I wanted. I'm not joking. Even when I said I want this song, I feel like listening to that. When I was getting it, coming through the music, confirmation, and it was ridiculous. I was walking around the shop saying, holy shit. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But that's what I'm saying. We set intentions. I realized I am seeing the world, because that's me, I'm judging it. If I'm seeing the world, people are bad, I can't trust them, there's a problem with you. Look, you have a lack of trust. So everyone's untrustworthy. People, you can't trust people. You have got to clean up that within you. You will experience that if you are holding no trust in you. Guess what? When you are going to interact with people that don't have trust in them either. You understand? Everything you hold in you, you are going to experience. You are on the same frequency, vibration, resonance. That applies with you seeing negative things and other bumping into negative parallel realities and dimensions and whatever. Universes, parallel realities. Yeah, we can manifest Earth. Absolutely, for heaven's sake. So until the population start projecting something different out there, they will not see wonderful government that is good, helpful to the people, trustworthy, people that care about each other. You have to start saying that and seeing that reality in society. I always now, when I go out, everybody, and my intentions when I go out, everybody I interact with, right, will be uplifting. They'll come away feeling uplifted, happy, positive, that I will embody the presence of Source. People will feel the presence of the divine, of the Source through you. I will spread love and light. So everybody are coming will be happy, that's the thing. And everybody I interact with will be collaborative, friendly, caring, this, that. You see, that's the world I want to be in and manifest. And you can. We can manifest a fantastic world. But you have to fix you. And the more you are following this movement on TV or anything, any of this nonsense, mainstream or not, this doesn't matter, they're both as bad. And you are following it, you've been led down the path and to whatever. Their shadows and projections and ego and fear and control is trying to get there. And both of them are doing the same thing, out of fear and control. Both sides, absolutely. In this so-called media, alternative media, both sides are all about fear, which is based in control. even if they're in opposition with fear. If all of us could see all of us, project your neighborhood, I see society, everybody I interact with are such amazing, friendly, loving, kind, helpful, interactive people. Guess what? I experience that. So will you. So will us. And next minute, our whole world and our government will be like that. But if you expect them to be bad, this, evil, they will be. It's because you're seeing it now, because it's already manifested, because that's how people believe, and it's being fed to them more and more, and confirmed more and more. So that's what will stay in their reality. If you want to change the reality, you've got to go up in your inner work, clean your shit up, visualize it. Same with Earth. Earth, we have no reason for Earth to be polluted. Earth can be pristine, perfect. We can be living on this most abundant, green, beautiful planet. But we must stop seeing her. This is what we know in manifestation. Because she is now, that's manifested. Now we want to change it. We stop seeing her as polluted. Oh my gosh, as this. And especially when people are feeding you, oh, there's going to be food. Why would you want to buy that? Why would you take someone's belief? Why would you want to manifest a food shortage in your reality? No, there is no food shortage. That's why I don't listen to it. I switch it off. I don't listen to any of the BS at all anymore. Any of it. Why? Because I'm aware I'm creating my reality. I don't intend creating any shortage. There's no shortage in the world. So if someone tells me, I'm going to think, oh my gosh, there is going to be, what am I doing? I've taken it as my belief. What will happen? Oh, I'm going to experience that. Or the collective will experience it because they want to believe it. Understand? If you switched all of it off, half of this stuff wouldn't manifest because you wouldn't be aware of it. No one would be feeding it into you, which you're not believing, taking it as your truth. It wouldn't happen. None of this going on outside that any of you are paying attention to would be happening. If you didn't choose, because you don't have to tune in, you don't have to watch the video, listen to the news, any of it. It's a choice, free will. You are playing a game. You choose how you want to play and what, because life is a big game. Okay, you are eternal. You have come here to play this game, and why are you doing that? Fascinating to me. Yeah. So you can absolutely, we can change. The more of us start manifesting and anchoring in new earth, the faster new earth will be here. Like in the physical for the collective to experience. You look outside. I look outside. I don't say, oh gosh, poor guy, I'm going to send healing. I see dirty rivers when I walk past them. I don't say, oh my gosh, they're always polluting. I don't. That's the old paradigm. I'm like, okay, this river needs some healing. And I put healing. I sit down and I put healing into the water. And I move on. But I see Gaia as beautiful and abundant. I thank her for her beauty and abundance and diversity and magnificence all the time. Yeah, I know. Exactly. This is what you want to manifest. You don't say, oh, thank you for the lack, Gaia. And, no, I walk around and thank her for the magnificence, diversity, and beauty we see on this planet is incredible. The birds, the fish. I mean, I could snorkel I love snorkeling. Oh my gosh, I'm a sucker for snorkeling. Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh. It's like for me, heaven. I could snorkel, especially some of these amazing reefs. Oh my, wham, they're amazing. So yeah, you can do this. I walk around and look at the flowers, look at the birds. I mean, there's bushes. I mean, anything. Colors. Look at the blue sky, the white clouds. This is a magnificent game. Yeah, she is beautiful and abundant. Exactly. I think that we don't have to worry about doing any of this. No, we would change the actual reality if everybody started, instead of, oh, earth, poor this, we've got to sustain the world to save it. No, that's not. You're being led by people in a lower state of consciousness. Or lower awareness. So most of the people leading us are not even in a state. They're very much in the analytical mind. They have no idea that they're who they are. And they're not connected to all that is, or their actual awareness or consciousness. They're acting from the ego and the brain. So this is why, oh yeah, we got to do that. And I mean, anyway, never mind. They're still in control and ego and everything. So that's it. So this is why otherwise they were telling everybody, right, they wouldn't be pushing any of this on the news and nonsense. They're in a state of fear. So they're trying to control. The other side in a state of fear, trying to control. Fight them. This is fighting the dark. Those are the bad guys. Hello? That is massive projection, shadow work, and ego. And they're playing on your dark night of the soul and shadow work. Actually, they're manipulating you from that aspect. Yeah, because here's the thing. When you're in that trance state, when you're connected, tapped in, tuned in, connected, like whatever, you're a healer, meditator, you'll know this, right? When you're in the trance state, which allows you to astral project, to remote view, to do whatever, right? You're in that state. You can pull down energy, you feel it, you can see it, and you're able to send out healing focus, because you're putting your focus, because remember, you are part of God. Hello. All that is the Creator, it's everywhere in our face. We just didn't, we weren't in that level of consciousness to even see it. So yeah, you can do that. Of course you can. How do you think we can heal in that state? This is the only place you have power, is in the now. That's about, and everybody tries to tell you that. Abraham Hicks tells you that. Bashar tells you that. Be in the present. Every meditator now. There's only now. So when you get out of the mind and the thoughts and oh my gosh, and I've got to do, you can do nothing. Now, only now. Now you can change something. In this present, right now, you can change something. That's where you act from this. Now you have power to do something. Yeah, absolutely. But from a physical mind, and I'm going to, no. There's no power. Besides, you want to go and turn a tap on or something. You can't change reality from the brain, from the ego. You don't have the power of that. But intention, and I just actually shared a video, funny enough, on my Facebook page, and trust me, all these universities, this is what I'm saying I found fascinating. Mainstream media and alternative media especially are not sharing all these things and the studies and what they actually know. You have absolute power. They know the power of meditation, concentration. So this is why, so if they had that, how come they haven't got the people manifesting good things? This is what I'm saying. There's an illusion. People have to wake up. But the so-called truth movement, if these people were really what they making out to be, right, let's say, pretending to be good saviors or whatever, right, they would be getting you all to clean up your shit and manifest the new earth. They'd all be doing is getting you all focused on visualizing and manifesting a change. What are they doing? They're trying to get you to destroy the opposition, that's all. This is division, hate, anger. That does not get you anywhere up the ladder in awareness or dimension, because there is no divide, source. All that is the Creator, all. So you're basically saying and that's what even Jesus said. If you hate that one, you hate me. I and my Father are one. You and Source are one. There's no separation. People will get there eventually. But you are now trying to say, those are bad guys, I want to slaughter him and kill him. Going back to the Dark Ages, people. The witch hunt. You are then basically cutting off, denying a part of yourself. You are not wanting, you're hating you're denying your own darkness, you're denying your own, you are hating a bit of you. It always goes back to you. You've got to dig into you and realize, what am I hating in me? What am I not accepting in me? Because you are saying to Source then, oh, well, I don't accept a part of you. And you are Source. Source doesn't reject anything. You're not rejected or judged. I'm going to go... I haven't a clue what you're going on about there. Okay. Yeah. Well, just humanity. Yeah. Light and balance. Absolutely. Yeah. It's a fascinating. But that's what I'm trying to say. People don't realize what they're doing is because they're looking, when you haven't cleaned up your own shit, you're looking for someone to blame. You're trying to pin them and that's victim consciousness as well. I'm going to blame them. These are the bad guys. There's good guys. First of all, there isn't any bad or good. Source doesn't judge. Secondly, you're projecting. There's hate, division, judgment, that's all the same thing, you see. But we're here, we're moving, and everyone's got a chance to play, so, and when you get up there, it's all irrelevant anyway. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, that's what I said. The Chinese proverb's actually so good, we get what you wish for. Because you want to reach that ultimate... Yes. Yeah, but it just changes the way you look at life and earth and the game and being human. Any of this. It's kind of, right, yeah. And then none of this actually matters. None of it actually matters. And so you get all the way there just to realize, oh, it doesn't matter. None of this matters. It's like completely irrelevant. Well, what happens? It doesn't matter. So then it's like, okay, but you can't tell people like that are stuck in this thing. They think there's a 3D and a matrix and the Maya. That's what I'm saying. They've really been deceived about what the Maya is. The Maya is the deception that you are a little person running around here and I'm a human being and I'm, you don't even know who you are. That's the Maya. It's when you drop into so-called being rebirthed or reincarnation or playing human, you drop into this body. The Maya is believing that anything else that exists and this and you're a human and that's or whatever. That's the Maya. There's no matrix and AI created matrix nonsense. That's a Maya inside a Maya. That's even a deeper illusion, going deeper into just digging deeper into the illusion and the whatever. Crazy. Yeah. It's absolute. This is what I'm saying. It's interesting. And I said that you would see the dark getting darker. Paranoid delusion. It's going to be a big slit. You can see those that are going to just hold a very low frequency in dark, dense hate, anger, judgment. Want to just, go down that whole. Want to battle. They want to still, fight. So they got to find something to fight, whether it's another ET, they'll find something. There we are, you're going to draw it to you. So that's, they like it. It's in them. That division and thing, it's a very much a human thing. So they're going to look for something to fight. Yeah, I've listened to one or two of these things, yes. I have listened to some. I listen to everybody, all kinds of things. I mean, a wide variety of stuff, as God depends. Yeah, some people resonate with you, others whatever, yeah. No. I stopped actually because you see, what I found, if you listen to too many people, you're taking on it subconsciously, you don't realize it well, because we just like, when we were born, this is how we were taught in the lower way of being, is you're just like a sponge. You just listen and you don't realize you're taking in as like people. Look at them. They're buying everything that's fed to them in social media, especially alternative media. They're buying everything that anyone tells them. Oh, absolutely. Oh, this is going to happen. Oh my gosh. Blah, 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 blah. It's like a sponge. So it's actually better better switch your stuff off, because then, first of all, like I said, people's minds are too busy. You're not training your mind to be quiet. How are you ever going to stay in the now, keep as much as possible, or be all present, if you don't learn to quieten the mind? So the more you externally noise and music and feeding it, it doesn't, you know what I mean? So I try not to. And then I don't need to, because as I say, I got my own way up the chakra system. So, so then you see the reality of it, or the truth of it. You see the actual, as I say, all that is. You see the all-seeing eye, the whole thing, and you're like, holy shit, is this what it is? When you see the truth, it's like it's a wow moment. When you realize what's really going on and who you really are and what this really is, you're like, oh, wow, shit. It's like another. And then it doesn't quite sink. And yeah, it does, but it does. I can't explain. Yeah, it depends. You see, I didn't have a guru saying, okay, now you sit on it and you meditate it until it becomes like such a knowing, such a belief. But I was too excited. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Wow. So I didn't give it time to like contemplate on it, But the more I am, the more it's like, oh wow. Like even last night I was like, yeah. It's a tricky one when you get to that level. As like I say, when you realize how these people, you can leave your body, you can leave here. But then what's the point? And that's another paradox. Then you get what's the point? It doesn't matter if you leave now or leave in 3 years or whatever. Your energy, like most of these people do when they reach that stage, they leave their bodies. They die quite quickly. Then they'll tell you. After you reach that level, I was quite frightening, that you leave your body, because the energy can't stay in the body anymore. And because basically the game is kind of over. You come here to play. So for Source can't experience to you when you realize, well, it's like Monopoly, right? You get there, or you Here's a game, I'll explain it. Cluedo. There's a very good game. There's a game called Cluedo. I don't know if anyone's played it. I used to love it as a kid. When you've got to figure out who the bad guy is or who the murderer was. There's a murder and you've got to figure out Mr. Black, Mr. Peacock or something, whatever did it, right? Once you know who the murderer is, people, the game's over. The same thing. When you reach this certain level in your meditation, when you realize what this life, what you think this life is about, what you are, then like they do, why do you think they don't bother? They don't care where they live or what they do because, that's it. The game is over. So it also for Source then is not much fun. So your energy pretty much which I learned, normally within 3 years they die, yeah. Because the energy leaves the body. Because there's no point you staying here in this body. You can come back in another carnation or not, whatever, if you don't want to play human again. Act as a guide like some people don't. Ascend, you reach that level, yeah, you don't have to. And now with the new paradigm we moved into, humans are not going to come back forgetting everything. If you notice, whatever you learned, and Cryon actually mentioned this. So what do you learn, what do you awaken to in this lifetime? Like before, what you believe you were born, So before all your reincarnations, you used to come back as a baby and you have no freaking clue who you are. Same thing. You come into here and you got to wake up and you got to learn. This is not happening anymore. So they're coming in with a higher level, what you want to call consciousness, no, awareness. They're coming in with a higher level of awareness now. So when you are reborn, any of you now, and you will be, when you come back next time, whatever you learn, your level, that's why I say stop listening to media and tooth movements and red pill shit, rubbish. You are not learning anything in your level of conscious and astrals and actually knowing. Because this is a short little life. People are focusing on this life. Oh my gosh, this life. This is why I say you're stuck in the Maya. Your soul is eternal. You should be more worried about the eternal side of it. Or I'm saying soul. There's another separation. But there's, yeah. So if you focus on that, whatever you learn now, spiritually, attain that knowledge, you work you up. When you come back again, and you will be, unless you leave your body and reach this, when you come back again, you retain that information. Whereas before, in the previous paradigm, you did not retain the information. You would come back again knowing diddly squat and have to go through all this, oh, I'm trapped, I'm a human, and no, I'm stuck here, and why do I have to be born, all this nonsense, in that whole thing again. No, not at all. No, they actually can inhibit you sometimes. That's why they're very strict. Some of these Buddhist schools, they will not let you take any of these drugs. Not at all. No. No. You've got to reach enlightenment, proper enlightenment, where you can actually leave your body. You can choose when you can leave your body. That's when you don't have to mess around anymore. Yeah. But yeah, and that's what I'm saying. You're going to come back with whatever you learn. So whatever level you reach now, you will come back with that knowledge. So work on it, people. You'll come back with that knowledge in your next incarnation. But if you want to, obviously, if it's your chosen and your path in this lifetime, otherwise the game would be over. The earth game would be over. Could you imagine if everybody now ascended to enlightenment or that level? And how are we going to play earth anymore? And this is a stunning game. I mean, look around you. This is magnificent. It's a magnificent movie, if you want to call it. If you think of it as a movie, it is beautiful. I mean, you've got this incredible earth, the diversity, the beauty, you've got to take your head off to this. This is magnificent. It is incredible. So the earth game would be over, because if we all reached enlightenment and could actually have control over leaving our physical vessel, we're going to get there. And this is what I'm saying. This epoch now, the humans will evolve again out of a physical vessel. This is the trajectory where they're going. They're going to go, and it'll take a while. Take notice, some people aren't even wanting to move. So it's going to take a while for you to raise your frequency, and it depends. At the moment, no one is. They're watching they're so focused on the now, on what's happening now outside the reality, what's manifested. And Abraham Hicks talks about that, talk about manifest, but they forget about when it comes to the actual world. So they think, oh, that only applies to my life, but look what's happening. Oh, there's going to be that. Oh, they're trying to destroy us, and they're trying to fake weapons, and they're trying to do that, and the food shortages, and what. And you're manifesting this shit because you're focusing on what's manifested. If you want to change it, as you say, same with your life, you know you can't. You've got to focus on the desired outcome you want. Same with the planet, same with Earth. So yeah, if we all reach enlightenment now and can leave our bodies, that's it. I mean, you know, hell no. A source we want to experience. As a non-physical being, you can't have fun then. You know what I mean? You know everything, all that is. You're well aware. I mean, you've got no physical, you know, body, right? So there's no senses anymore. So that's why I say, I can't even explain it. There's no senses. So you can't touch, taste, smell, kiss, feel, this and that. And you know what I mean? When you playing this game, you can do those things. So Source gets to experience all of this through us. Me or you, whatever. Let's put it in. Right, so this is what it's all about. So yeah, no, we all can't be going out of we all can't be, you know, evacuating planet Earth now, because that wouldn't work. But that's where they're going, yeah. That's where humanity is going to go. So they're going to raise more and more in light and frequency and vibration. Take a bloody long time. Till they become non-physical. You know, like other beings. Some of you have seen in your astrals, in non-physical. They're higher, you know. That can take a long time. Depending on, you know, people and who knows and their choices and stuff. And at the moment, it looks like, you know, they're on such a slow course to change because they're so thinking they can control it by now, protesting and doing this and that. You have no power in the now. This is the now. And resisting, as we know it, focusing on it, persisting, you are keeping it here. You are manifesting, you're holding it. You're just keeping it in your reality. But putting out, not focusing and focusing on you want is what will you'll see become manifest. But you know you have nothing, you know anyway, you know that's not meant to be, because yeah, anyway, never mind. That's what I say. You when you come to the thing, you get to a level and you think, oh wow, you know, you kind of get in this paradox sort of situation where you realize that actually none of it actually matters. Everything is fine, everything is perfect, you know. And this is the paradox. It's like, oh wow. You know, and people are running around terrified that they're going to die and this is going to happen to them and that, and they don't realize it's, you know, and their soul, something absolutely bollocks, nothing can happen to their soul. I mean, they want to go down that hole if they choose to. Some of them might go down a very dark hole and be stuck there for long, but you're eternal. You can't ever just go back. You'll eventually go back to Source. Everything goes back to Source eventually. You can't disconnect and lose yourself because you're part of Source. End of story. All that is, everything that exists, which means human, non-human, what you think, everything you think out there, stars, planets, moons, ETs, there we are. There we are. Some might just choose to, you know, distance themselves for, who knows, forever, as long as they want, for a while. But eventually everything goes back to Source, end of story. It's part of the experience, just an experience. What you're experiencing here, think of Earth as a 3D simulation, 3D holographic projection game. Let's say this is everyone knows what these kids play, PlayStation, whatever, virtual reality games or whatever they're playing. They love these things. They can't get them out of their noses out of that shit. So think of Earth game as you being human. There's a planet. All this stuff is one of those. But now we've got many layers, and you see it as linear ways. You see it as layers. So you think, okay, there's everyone thinks there's 1 dimension, 2 dimensions, 3 dimensions, and no, multi-dimensional. There's no like, it's not like here, 1, 2, 3, 4, because that's a linear mind. Your mind in a brain can't perceive, oh wow, it's frequency. No, it's not, there's no actual space. I can't explain it. So it's different frequencies and dimensions. It could be literally here, you wouldn't even see it. So Earth is one, and then you've got, say, maybe these beings playing on Mars, and you've got beings, you've still got your ancestors, and you've got, and it's just going on. Everything's going on all over the place. And there's these beings, and there's Lyra, and there's this, and there's that, and there's, you know, wherever. Different timelines. All existing. It's fascinating, anyway. So yeah, this is a good one. You came here to master this. And people are getting very distracted, and you're not going to master anything if you follow any of this nonsense. If you started following any things that were like this, useful to you, and you were learning, like Abraham Hicks, Bashar, teaching you to get your negative patterns, how to actually manifest, to raise your frequency, vibration, positive, to change your mind, you know, all the, and the Buddhas or whatever, to meditate, to quieten the mind, chant, whatever you want to do, Zen, whatever you want to do to get it. It will benefit you immensely, even in the 3D now. Your actual life will change for the better, and the future. It will happen much faster. But anyway, even that is, as I say, the whole thing is... Well, you are playing a game, basically. You just don't know you are. You are playing the Maya. You're playing, you just don't realize you're playing. You don't even know why you're playing. Most people have no clue why they're playing. It depends on their belief system, and then that'll be enforced as well. So you believe this is, go look at what you want to call near-death experiences, how different they are. Plenty of them out there. It all depends on your belief system. People need to spend more time listening to Bashar and Abraham Hicks. There's a lot of it in there. The old stuff, yes, also important to listen to a bit, but we've moved into a new paradigm. So a lot of that old stuff, the old Vedics, where you had to be, do this and don't be good, it applies to a certain extent. But to the average person now, it won't, because they're not going to go to enlightenment. They're not seeking enlightenment. They're just seeking to make their lives now. They're looking at this life, really, and playing around and having fun in astral, whatever. But yeah, anyway. Yeah. Are you starting to learn to leave your body? Yeah, fun, relax. No fear and relax. Absolutely no fear and relax. That's the only advice. It's the only way you do anything, because you're absolutely in control, nothing will harm, Have not any fear, have total faith, fear nothing. If you think about nonsense and fears, as I talked about, you'll draw it to you anyway. You see, because whatever you hold in your frequency and vibration and what you think about is an antenna. So what you hold in you, beliefs, unfortunately they have frequency and vibration. You've got any negative beliefs, be careful. And if you've got any, because then nothing can happen to you as well. Remember, that's in the astral. You're going to see it, experience it, don't fear it. Another thing. So if you hold negative beliefs or expect something bad or still us, them, dark, good, whatever, but it's part of your learning experience. So fear nothing. Have absolute faith, trust. And if you stay in that, and that non-resistance, non-fear, you will be easily at it. And you stay as much as you can in the now, which is keeping the mind quiet, which is in the modern society, it's virtual reality, TV. Look at them. The whole idea is that's probably why they did this, actually, to keep the mind. It's the worst time now. The awakening was coming. What are you doing? Keeping the public as busy and as distracted as possible. They've either got their head in a PlayStation or this or that or on something else, but it's keeping them from the mind. It's not training the mind to be quiet and calm and in the now. So the more technology you use, the worse it's going to be harder for you to reach that. You see? Because you're constantly feeding, you're stimulating the brain all the time by listening to news and this and that and truth of things. And so even me, I'm trying to not, because I don't really need to now. I've listened to a lot of Abraham Hicks and stuff. So sometimes it's quiet. You need to also manage where you need, just quiet, nothing. Not constant. We are used to constant noise. It's got to have a TV on the background or music or constant in your... You're just stimulating the mind, the brain. No, it's not. And this is why you'll see the what you call autistic people. They're not autistic. And I mentioned there's nothing wrong with them, actually. You are 3D linear mind. You've got a 3D linear mind you're moving out of. They are not. They're conceptual. They're able to see differently. They're multidimensional already. They've come in with a multidimensional perspective. We didn't have it. And guess what they don't like? Constant noise. They understand that. Terrible. Far too busy. That constant stimulation, noise, and nonsense is not good. Does not help, you see. They just labeled as something wrong with them because they don't see things as the third person with the 3D, very analytical. Only the brain sees it. You see, oh no, they don't understand this. There's far more than that. because they can't see it. So it's got to be something wrong with you because you don't think like me. We got a lot of changes coming to this planet. Wow. As people wake up more and more, so everything will change, the perspective, because your perspective is like, oh, okay, wow. That's, just ignorance. We were just ignorant because we weren't at that frequency vibration or that level of awareness, that's all. And even people blaming, going back at the past. Oh, look, they're hiding the past from us. Look at that, look at that. No, you were. You're just blaming. That's the same as you blaming yourself or your ancestors. Your physical so-called vessel, right? Your ancestral lineage. Go back, do some time travel, or go back to your past lives. How can you go and blame yourself and say, oh, look, they kept the past from us. You were those people. Like now, the government is a reflection of you, of your consciousness. This is just what's held in the collective is what's held in the leaders. Control, fear, arrogance, and I said that. Simple. And the same back then. We were at a lower level of consciousness. No one is trying to hide anything. We all were in that hole. There's no going back and look what anyone did to us. That's a lower, that's the same thing. But anyway, I say, in the end, you get to the point where it's not really worth talking about it because it doesn't matter. Everything's fine anyway. It's such a weird predicament to be in, a paradox, because you realize you can't tell someone that hasn't got there that, oh my gosh, your soul can't be trapped, you're perfectly fine, nonsense, all this is rubbish, whatever else, because his point is telling him. Because they cannot perceive it, they're not on that frequency and vibrational level of awareness yet that they can understand that. They realize that. And you realize you have nothing to fear anyway. You know nothing can happen, everything's all good. They just aren't aware of it because they're in their body and they're still in fear. And oh my gosh, that something can hurt me. And they haven't worked their way up through their fears and all that other nonsense. So they still think something can suck my soul out and trap me and do this to me and do that to me and whatever. But everything is all good. They're just not aware of it. So it's like, anyway, I'm in a paradox at the moment, even worrying if I should even say anything. Because when you get to this, it's like, well, I don't know. So now I'm trying to decide when you're aware of the game, now your paradox is, what are you going to do? It changes your whole perception. You see, when you're on a lower awareness, you are looking about you now. Me, myself, I. So you just want to manifest or sort this now immediate life out. It's like, oh, I want to do that. Oh, I want to do this. You have all these things you want. This is what I'm saying. It's ego. It's what I want to do, you see. So you want to do this. Well, I want to travel. I want to go and make money. I want a spiritual teacher, whatever. Fame, who knows, whatever you want. But when you get to that level of awareness, it's like, oh. Now you understand why Buddhas do what they do. Doesn't matter. You might as well just go sit. You could sit in the street. You can feed the poor. None of it would matter. You see. Now I can understand why they choose to leave. Some of them don't. They just choose to die. Some die, and everyone sits around. Some actually leave their body. I mean, witness, but they don't advertise that too much. They keep it quiet. I don't think they want. Says people were frightened of. Because some people, they say, I love they. Anyway. But it's not uncommon. Yeah. They normally do. And your energy normally, it does exit the body. Anyway, me, I don't give a, either way. If I'm here tomorrow, if I'm here for 2 years, 5 years, 3 years. At the moment, it's like, I had all these plans and now I had... That's what I'm saying. There's so much rapid change we're going to go through because and these are huge shifts coming in and energies coming to the planet. So as you go up in awareness, you are going to keep changing. Your perspective is going to keep changing, people. I can just advise you there. And that's something so I had all these plans. I wanted to do this, right? And I manifested something. I manifested something about 2 or so years ago. This is a bit of a dilemma. Not now. I manifested something, right? I think it was about 2 years ago. Anyway, And because I forgot about it and I just put it out there and trusted or whatever, and I was in this great vibe, it manifested. Boink. So, and then I was like, oh wow, amazing. I knew it was. I bloody knew. I mean, the synchronicities were like, it was there for a reason. Yeah, it was there for a reason, but it wasn't what I thought. Anyway, so it was for me to do some healing. It was a mirror. If everything you do, nothing is an accident, is a mirror for you to make another choice. So it was like, ooh, okay, that was on a, ooh, I've got to look there unhealed. So that was a massive healing, clearing thing for me. So that person was there to show me, ooh, hello, no, wow, and did I have some serious stuff to clean. So it was a massive gift. It was an amazing gift. So they came into my life to really show me, wow, I've got to fix that, do that, well, not fix it, it's up to you. It's choices. So I'm given a choice. Wow, do you want to hang on to that? No. Do you want to no? Most of it was dark, dense energy, right? It was dark, dense energy. So it was a lot of letting go. And then I shifted again, because as we know, we've got massive energy planets. And then I'm like, oh, wow, I'm not, then I was, okay, that lesson was learned. So I got to that thing where that lesson I'd copped on. I knew exactly that was a lesson. I'm wise enough now not to see anything as bad a judgment. And I knew it was for a reason. So I was watching for the lessons and I picked them up, woof, 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 woof. And I was triggered plenty. So I understood the lesson. But then I was all of a sudden guided because I started manifesting something else. So I put my attention, this is what happens. We have ability to do this. I put my attention, I'd like this and that. And I was manifesting and putting it out there and working on, and I was holding such a frequency. Wow. So then I was guided, right, poof, time to move. And I was just knew it. Your energy and frequency that just completely resonated. That started moving out of my existence because I wasn't in the same frequency and vibration. You see, once you are done that clearing and healing, guess what? They can't stay in your existence anymore because you're not on the same frequency. So anybody that comes into your experience they have frequencies and vibrations that you are holding in you. It's for you to figure out, what have they got in me that I've got there? And I was looking for that, and so I started clearing them. The minute I cleared them, that person couldn't stay in my existence. We were just all of a sudden like magnets, you pulled apart again because you're not holding the same frequencies and vibrations. Lesson over, time to move on, and I was guided to move again. I was drawn, and I was pulled in this direction. So I started manifesting something, which is pretty much already there. And then I was like, and then I hit another, and now with this last energy that came in this last week, and then I hit another level. And like last night I was awake and I was like, oh my. But I did ask for it, I forgot, you see, you forget. Be careful is what I said, be careful I'm not saying be careful, but what you ask for, people, you get, you just forget. Old Chinese proverb, be careful what you wish for. So I did, and I really wanted this. So I wanted to reach Master Samadhi, enlightenment, I really sought it. I just got distracted because obviously, I needed to heal. So I was put on that thing, no, you need to do some healing and clearing. Yeah, so I was taken off there and I did that and I came back on my path of enlightenment. And then shit comes down, more the actual, how would you say, the actual holding it as a knowing and like as a thing, right? Holding that as a real, can't explain it. And then you realize, that you can. Then I saw actually how you could, if I wanted to now leave my body, I could actually do it. So you were well aware you could actually physically leave the human game now. I could have pulled my energy out and gone. That's it. I mean, just exited this whole thing. But then when you get to that, you realize, well, ooh, that's a whole different paradox you're in. And then like, well, yeah, so now I'm still with that whole, I'm working through that now. Now, like, what should I do? While you're here, you might as well enjoy it, you know what I mean? As much as I want to say, you've got to get to that. If you get to that, and you will, one day, everyone's going to get there. When you get to that level, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And then you'll be like, oh, wow, okay. It's another whole paradox. I'm working through that. It'll come. It's guided. So now I'll get guided. Now I'm busy going to that. It's another stage. And now I've got to decide, ooh. I didn't study anything. Absolutely diddly squat. Nothing. Besides the Bible. Only thing I'd ever studied. So yeah, I had lots. I was really like thrown into the dark. We didn't have Buddhism, not in this lifetime anyway. Not in this game. I didn't do any of that. Other existences, absolutely, I have. Yeah, I was on a much higher dimension. Obviously, one of them maybe it looks like an Earth one from a couple of things I've seen. I've saw a few things about this, but I've been a Buddhist. Yeah, I've been a many things. So all of you have, if you go back in your life. Before there was humans on the planet, we came here as well to check out the planet. Before there were humans, it was another whole game, this place. And we came here to establish, life on Earth, all kinds of things. Other planets, and then you will see many other lives. You were priestess, you were a shaman, you were American Indian, you were this, you were that, you were there. I was a Buddhist, yeah. Another dimension as well, because I kept going there actually. And I remember asked someone who's a very good psychic reader and healer. I remember asking her once, and I kept going to this place in my astrals or my things. I'd end up in front of this huge golden Buddha. It was gold, it was a massive golden Buddha, and I'd sit there and I'd meditate. And I was like, shit, I wonder where that is. It's like, anyway, she said, no, it's not in this dimension, yeah. But I know that. So who knows what dimension that is? Well, anyway. So there's another dimensional space, parallel reality I'll tap into. Don't know which one. Many of these things. They exist now. It's just a different parallel. It's not you. It's what I'm saying. You can't. Can you imagine? This is where Bashar makes it very clear to us. We think it's us. No. Because if everything's happening at now, right? You think this, me, I'm me, that's the part. You cannot have all these lives at once. Your high source is doing it. Yes, many parallels. There's many fractals, what you think of you. You tapping into that. But at the moment you are here, everything's now playing, say, honor. That being over there is playing whatever, who knows, a Palladian, is not you, because you are here, playing now. That being, there's no such thing as times. You see? It's a fractal. Because I'm not even going to go there. It's confusing for people. Because you are source, right? Those are fractals of source. All of them. Experiencing itself as an ET, as a this, as honor, as my past life, whatever. It's not you. But because you are part of source, you can, and part of all that is string theory, you can tap into those things. So for you, that is you. As source, it is. But as this thing, as a body, no, it's not. And as Bashar explains to you quite rightly, no, they're not. That's not you. You actually shift parallel realities. Even now, that older version of me is not on it doesn't exist. There's no past. I'm a different being. I'm on a different time or parallel reality. So that older version of me, what I think is my past, is a complete different being or different, say, consciousness. It's on a different parallel reality. There's a lot to get your mind around, but that's why I say listen to things like that, because that gives you'll learn a lot more than listening to any truth movement, anything, any of that nonsense. Go listen to Bashar channels, and you can know genuine information, helpful. First of all, you can tell because there's no side. He doesn't try and push you. He won't. You can tell if someone's doing the right thing. They're not going to try and tell you. They're not forceful. He listens to people and he listens to their thing. He doesn't try and tell them, argue against their beliefs. You see? There's a lot of giveaways. So Bashar is a good one, and you'll learn a lot about timelines, negative beliefs, and that's a good thing, very good thing, because human, got a lot to clean up. There's a lot there. And Abraham Hicks, and you'll see, if you start listening to a few people, if you start listening to all those different people, you will start seeing, pretty much they're saying the same thing. Yeah, okay, but just differently. But listen to it, you'll get the point. So Abraham Hicks, Bashar, you'll see the similarities. You can go listen to a yogi, you listen to that one, and you eventually start, okay, and you'll start seeing it from a higher, because you also need to get the infant. You need to get the knowledge. And then, so I listen to yogis and gurus and Buddhas, and I say the Tibetan Book of the Dead very much, only because I'd experienced myself, so I wanted to know, and I went up the tunnel of light, and I went up here, and I went everywhere, bloody hell. So I wanted to know, and I had another whole, now I've got a better understanding, which I knew then. I said it was something odd about the tunnel of light up at this so-called heaven. And I thought there was something was off about it. But now I understand why. At that level of consciousness, I didn't, you see. And then also being out of a body and all that sort of stuff. Now I listen to all of them and I understand it. Because I've experienced what it's like being in a non-physical body back with Source and knowing everything. And literally, you know and hear everything. When they say, like the Bible told you, God hears and knows everything. I'm not joking. Now, Abraham Hicks calls it Source, the universe, whatever, however you want to say it. Yes, absolutely 100% right. Absolutely 100% right. Just that we were in a darker, denser energy. We were not connected to them. We weren't aware who we were. We were awake. We were ready. So all those people, if you can listen to all of that, you will see the relevance, how they all tie up, how the truths overlap, except the paradigm has shifted. So the newer version of where they're trying to guide us, humanity, where we're going, is more Abraham Hicks and Bashar. Because humanity, you've risen in consciousness now, in dimension. So now we are able to attain, we moved into the multidimensional, higher knowledge, which we didn't before. You see? So that knowledge was for the old paradigm. Okay, be humble and serve, whatever. There's differences. Yes, there are. There's a lot. Yes, there is. There's no judgment. There's only one. So yes, you need to take it all in, actually. You do need to take it all in. But I mean, not all of you are trying to reach enlightenment now, you know what I mean? And actually, talking about leaving the physical body, like not reincarnating ever again, and da. Otherwise, the game would be over. I'm sure there's going to be enough of people doing it, because this is the time now. It's up to you what you seek, you see. What you seek truly with your heart. And also there's another thing. Source is not an idiot. I was manifesting happily away. I really want this. I want this. But then I heard something. I got a confirmation. As we know, nothing's an accident. So there's another person I started following recently. Out of the blue. No accident. Oops, I came across this video of this person. I just thought, ooh, it resonates with me. I like their stuff. And I started following them. Messages. They're channeling messages. And I got some confirmation today, because last night, of course, I'd manifested all this and I'd asked for it, and I was, yeah, and I'm getting it. And I got, yeah, it's there. Well, what are you doing? You've asked for all this shit. It's there. If you want to get it, do something about it. But then I jumped. I said, this shift now, I've shifted again, which obviously was a known thing anyway. And now I was like, yeah. And I listened to this. I quickly put on TikTok, and there was this video. A new message, and I was like, ew, channel message, and I was like, thank you for that confirmation. Yes, because why? My actual true being. That's why it's so important. They say know thyself. And how many of us really, we're just getting to know ourselves, most people. And I hadn't really dug deep enough. So yes, I got all excited. This thing's excited me, but what really, like the absolute love, passion, with an absolute passion, has never been at the core of my being money. It's never been a driving factor to me in this existence at all. My theme, I know what my theme was, and if you look at your life, you'll see there's been a theme in it, actually. It goes throughout. I've had a theme in this life, and it was far from money. It was love anyway, love. And I knew that. I came in with that. But I thought the 60s was it, but anyway, it wasn't. I was ahead of the game. Now, of course, you knew love was the main thing, and happiness was the thing that you sought. So I was ahead of the time for the awakening, far ahead for it. So I was looking in the 3D for those things. I didn't, then before you wake up. So anyway, yeah, a bumpy ride. But yeah, I got some information, because it's never, ever been important to me. To be famous or, absolutely not. Or to make money, or to, those things were never been a drive of mine, ever. It was never tempting. It's just not who I am as a being. You know what I mean? At my core, those things were not in me. Other people, absolutely, they want to experience. But this life, it was nothing that I chose to experience or ever drove me. Never tempted me. It was not like, it was never. So yeah, anyway, never mind. All of it's there. You can have what you want, but it's, so you can ask for something, but your true source, your true soul, if you'll be guided that way, or it won't come. You will always be pulled to and you won't even be aware of what your true core is. You won't. Sometimes you aren't aware of it. But so then things just won't work out or be taken away from you. And like, why? Because it's not who you really, you got to learn who you really are. And if you're barking up the wrong tree and you're not meant to be there, and if you're out of touch with yourself, well, it's just going to be taken out from you. So there was another one. So then you were like, so last night I was lying awake for a long time in a real paradox. And I'm thinking, oh, well, what the hell am I going to do now? Because my whole perception changed. And I was almost tempted to leave last night. I was thinking, yeah, because now you realize and you could do it, and you started pulling, and then I thought, no. Then I was guided, no, I just didn't, yeah. I don't know, yeah. Because then you're doing it from an ego perspective as well. You're trying to do something instead of just letting things be. Because you're in control anyway. So yeah, whatever. Anyway, it'll work itself out. Like everybody, you've all got your stages you got to go through, and in the 60s, yeah, exactly. Oh wow, I love that. That music, the 70s is my music. Oh, absolutely. The 70s is oh man, I love that whole era. And I remember myself and my friends, early 80s maybe, we were still, Simon and Garfunkel and guitar and the whole hippie thing and love. It was sweet. It was lovely. They soon suppressed that whole happy love story, didn't they? Yeah. I didn't like it. Because they're in a lower dark anger control. They don't, Anyway, peoples, there we are. Thought I'll come on, chat. Haven't been on for a while. But listen to all of those. Anyone seeking, it's much more informative. You'll learn so much more. It'll help you, because you all got to be all eternal. So I've shared them. I share them on my YouTube page. So what I do is when I see some really good content that'll help people on the spiritual path or on this awakening path, because this is going to help them. It's not just going to keep them. It's not distracting them with nonsense. This is actually, it's a seed. When they're ready, they will get it, Maybe not this lifetime, but they will. So I share videos and information like that about enlightenment samadhi, which is, the actual truth we got to attain somewhere in our life to get out of the earth game. So I share them, I share them on my TikTok community, but I think you've got to subscribe. And then I don't know how it shows up on your feed, because if I go to my TikTok page, it shows videos, it shows about you, then it's got a community. It's under the community section. The videos I share some of Abraham Hicks content, some of Sadhguru's, some of a couple of people. Not Sadhguru, what's his name? The Yoga Institute. But I don't resonate with a lot of his stuff. It's on a very different energy. He's still, yeah. Anyway, so some of his stuff, yeah, I don't see. He has some very useful stuff, but we don't see. We have different views and beliefs. See, as I say, the new paradigm has changed. Some people are still stuck. They've learned. When you spend your time, that's why I say it's a good thing not to learn. There's an advantage about learning. These people have just studied scriptures and everything else, because then you're just learning someone else's truth. Remember, not your own. So when you start doing your meditation, get to a certain level first, and then listen. But don't take everything as your truth. Just listen to decide, I'm going to listen, but not take it as my truth. And you decide what you want to take. But go with resonance. So I listen to, I've shared them. I shared them on my Facebook page, because you can't share them on TikTok. You can't share YouTube videos on here and, post them on here and things like that. So I share them on Facebook, and I share them on my, YouTube channel. So people that are subscribed, they can see them. So there's some good people here you can follow. And I've shared stuff that took me, to find. So there's stuff, but I listen to them all. That's the only way you find out, people. Don't just follow one person, one thing. You will not progress. You're going to get stuck then on that thing. You're not progressing. So if you follow them all, you'll learn. But remember, we're not all here to play the same game. See, that would be boring for Source. So some are going to get stuck down rabbit holes and play dark and do this and get into the paranoid delusion, and some believe they, the reincarnation, some are walking. I'm sure we're going to have quite a few that are going to pop up and believe they are Jesus and all kinds of things. We're going to have a lot of those popping up. We're going to see all kinds of interesting, or some people, well, I don't know about I'm not focusing on, I don't focus on the exterior, very little. My immediate exterior, what's happening out the rest of the world, because at the moment they want to, they want to manifest all kinds of nonsense, let them have fun with it. But I don't let it influence my reality. I don't want to take on other people's. We did this is what we got to get out of learning. The entire existence as a human being on this planet, you've allowed everything else external to influence your reality. You've taken every truth from your teacher, from your mother, from your parent, from the mainstream media. Now it's some other truth celebrity or fame, whatever nonsense or whatever. I mean, it's the same. That's the same rabbit hole. You've allowed other people to dictate your reality. Listen to people that tell you how to empower yourself. You see, where Bashar does a lot, where there's very useful things about clearing negative belief programs and making it very clear what you believe, what you create your own reality. Which is a bit more, so saying, whoa, people, what you believe or belief is what you get. And I've seen it in the astral. I've experienced that. When you get to certain reality, you realize you created. And same with attach. Nothing can attach to you, curse you, or do anything unless you believe it. That's it. It cannot. Same with the other nonsense I see being leaked out on media now, on social media, on alternative social media, so-called alternative. If nobody wanted it out there, it wouldn't be out there anyway. They control the internet. Anyway, people are doesn't matter. So if you look at the, all these symbols that we've had around the planet are just ancient, that was left by us back then, so we would remember, like the wheel of life, the spiral energy, okay, that the Jewish star, all it is a Merkaba. Now some people have got some nonsense story telling people these are Merkabas that protect you, nonsense, that this is when you're astral. This is actually your energy. So this is what now they're scientists, now I've got enough technology to see it. That hydro intellect, whatever they call it, I can't remember what it is. Your cells, your makeup of the cell, your energy, right? Everything in the universe is what they've discovered, and I've shared it on my page. It's just different. It's a 3D or 4D or 5D version of it. It looks different depending on the dimensional drawing of how it's put out. So that Jerusalem star is on a flat page, so you can't get the idea, the two triangle upside down thing, is a Merkaba. The same shape of everything that's made up, matter, what you want to call matter in the universe, your physical body. So when you leave this physical body, because now they know all you're made up of the trillions of shells, that's what it looks like. Your soul, or what you call your essence, travels in that, is encapsulated in that Merkaba. That's the shape of it. And that's what the star of Jerusalem, whatever it is, that's the same. It's just a different, it just was not on a dimensional scale that you could work out what it looked like. But that's what that one is. And I explained what that whole triangle with the thing is in the middle and all those things. As you raise an awareness, you realize, you know what I mean? So these things were always passed down. So we wouldn't forget, but we just forgot what they were. Because the level of consciousness and that information was kept from the public. It kept very carefully and very quiet. Because the same thing, level of consciousness. So it wasn't so the mainstream, for a few, they were ready for enlightenment, went there. That was it. Anyway, those things are really... All right, lovely people. I've talked plenty now. I'm thirsty. Well, intend it, believe it, and you probably will. You've got to raise, I suppose, a high enough in frequency and thing to do that. It's just you're reading energy. So some people read it through songs, see it as maths, see it as vision, see it as, it's like, we talk about upgrades and downloads, right? What we're doing is reading energy that's coming into planet. Like now, we're getting shifted up. Your awareness is going up all the time. People call it consciousness, actually awareness. Your consciousness doesn't move, it's not even in the body. So your awareness is going. Your awareness of you, the consciousness is going up. So that's So what it is us being able to interpret it. So different, your brain, everyone's different in how you're interpreting what you believe, focus on, and then your I suppose biological vessel you're in is interpreting it differently, you see. So some people are able to pull it, comes down through music, their memories, and then they're remembering a Lemuria, so they're singing. These are that's a language. They're remembering. It's all it is a language. A lot of that singing is languages we spoke as other. They're tapping into other beings and other parallel realities because they're resonating with them. So you're tapping into Lemuria and this, that, and being here, whatever else. That's all you're doing. And some of it we're channeling through. Some people almost see it as numbers, visions, whatever, knowing. It comes through. It depends on your, everyone's different. Many different ways we call upgrades, downloads, whatever. Visually, orally, senses, knowing, who knows. It's energy we interpret. You're reading the energy. We're reading energy. Because there's nothing else besides energy and frequency and vibration. So your brain, being as it is crystals, and there's enough information out there on the brain, the pineal gland are just crystals, it's transceiver. The information is coming in, so depending on your bias, your level of awareness, frequency and vibration, and as I say, beliefs, everyone's filters are different because you've got to clean up your shit to get up in your astral or dimensional or consciousness, or what the people say, frequency and vibration, right? The more negative beliefs you're holding, the more fear-based beliefs you're holding, the more any other nonsense you're holding, it's keeping you. So you are retaining more dark dense energy. So it's stopping you from going up. The more you release, the more can come in. So depending on the person, now they've got different belief systems. So whatever your belief is, it's going to come through how you interpret things as well. So it's coming through your filter, your biases, your beliefs. This is why there's all kinds of stuff out there. I mean, some of it's way out, well, depending on the person. But that's what they're doing. So it's light language, people are channeling, we're reading it, drawings, it's coming through music. So it's coming through people in different ways. Knowing, intuition, which is the same thing. It comes, yeah. Yeah, you're welcome. But yeah, some of it you can understand because you remember as a being. Some of it I very much. If you switch off your mind, your brain, and you listen to it, you tap into what they're saying, right? Some of you just won't resonate with it. That's how you move on. Some you'll be drawn to because it's that frequency and vibration. And you'll understand it. You'll know. You'll realize your consciousness, your awareness knows exactly what that person's saying. Absolutely. It's energy. It's information is all information comes through as a frequency and vibration. But your brain is interpreting it so you comes out in this human game as a language. Otherwise you won't understand. If I just start going, you're not a bat, you know what I mean? If you were all bats, you could pick up frequencies or sonar, it would be no problem, but we're not bats. We're playing human. So we've got different senses. Our eyes can't perceive half the shit. So your brain comes into the brain, the pineal gland, and now it's going to be adjusted through your senses to come out as language. So it's going to come out in singing, visions, whatever. Yeah. Don't know what. There we are. Yeah. And some of it's amazing because you recognize that language. So these are languages sources played, like, maybe you're Lemurian, Atlantis, other beings like that. You'll know it. You absolutely resonate with it. You absolutely resonate with it. You know that language. And you can feel it. Some you can tap into. Also, maybe it's belief. And it really does. It's like, wow, it's lovely. So but you choose. Depending on what you are, you need it in your experience. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you'll remember. That's all. Yeah. When you choose, remember what you focus on. So you choose. A lot of people think because they wake up and they're hearing everybody else's not. It's the same thing. This is human. Everything is from the external. So, these people are saying. So those are the good beings. So everybody thinks all the Palladians and Arcturians. All they want to see is Palladians because those are the people everyone's told you are the good people. So they're tapping into that. And then everyone thinks, these are the bad guys. So of course they're going to, what do? When they think about them, it's negative, anger, hate, and they normally draw this negative, which I was one of those. Wow. I spent so much time in the astral fighting Dracos, you have no idea. I was out there fighting these things, I mean, dropping into them and having so much fun with them. Plenty. Because all I focused on, because I was going with the dark, got to fight them. See, I was thinking I had to be the warrior. I hadn't done a lot of work in myself, so I've got to fight, and that was me. No judgment to anyone else, because we all got to experience it, but then I was out there being the warrior, fighting, all it just, that doesn't matter, we've all got to go through this. But when you get through it, when you look back, you understand where everybody else is, and you can see why they're there now on this level, and this is they're going. But it's perfect. There's no judgment in any of it, because we all are experiencing it from a different perspective, for a different reason, at different angles, different times, and it's for the experience. As all that is the source, it's the experience. Say it. Yeah, okay. Yeah. See, everyone's different, exactly. There we are. Depends on you and your belief and what you're ready for and what's the easiest way, and who knows, and your, yeah. Everyone, yeah. Oh, I get it all kinds of ways. Like, I couldn't sleep last night after my meditation yesterday. Well, yeah. I mean, I knew it was nice. But then, you know, it's been getting more and more like, you know, so now you're solidifying that in that space. And then, as I say, these sort of things were coming in, and I'm like, oh, wow. Then the whole paradigm shifted for me. So I'm now what? What should I do now with this? Because now I'm here, now what should I do? Because it changed, then it makes you relook at everything again. It's like you just, wow. So that's what I'm saying. People have got a lot to go through. Just get used to it. Things are going to change and change and change depending on your awareness. If your awareness keeps changing, you will keep changing, because your perspective of what you want, what you see is going to keep changing as you evolve, or, you know, become more and more aware, raise frequencies, and do, you know, it's up to you. I'm always thankful. You see, I thanked them for the healing. I called it healing. It's not actually healing. There's nothing wrong with you. There never is. But we call it healing. Okay, all these things and negative beliefs and trauma and hurt and all that nonsense we hang on to, hate and judgment and grief and pain and blame and shame, and it just never stops. It just goes on. So it's working through that. I was so grateful, because, oh, did I have a closet, trunks, wardrobes, houses of it to get through. Houses of it, like literally. So I was like, thank you. It was very painful. Then as you get more and more, and after a while, you're like grateful for it. So every time, you know, I did get triggered, I was thankful. I was like, wow, okay, thank you. You know, thank you for showing me that. Please let me bring it up on meditation, make sure I heal and clear it tomorrow. Right, thanks. It was one more to get off the list. That's all you see it as. Every time you clear one thing, you just know you're going to be lighter. So it was like, thank you, all right, well, let me give rid of that. Thank you, let me give rid of that. Thank you, let me give rid of that. It doesn't. Anytime anything came up, I got angry, upset, it showed me. And I was like, ooh, there's something there. And then I would, what's that? And I'd be specially asked, please show me where that comes from, so I can not let that go. I don't need to hang on to that hurt or anger or upset or any nonsense. That's it. It's a lot of work. It's obviously because you're going through a phase in the middle. You see, you don't, and we must also be careful what you think, because we're the ones that make ourselves stuck. I feel like I'm stuck is a belief. If you think I'm stuck or believe you're stuck, you're sticking yourself. You're believing it. So you are purposely, what are you doing then? Abraham Hicks explained that actually in a video. You are putting up you are doing it to yourself. So you are putting up a restriction on a block on yourself because you don't want to go where you're meant to be going, because the other side of you, the non-physical side, knows exactly where and what. So I've got resistance or something, you got. So go within. I won't do that. If you think it's stuck, you're not. There's a reason for it. And it's busy, obviously going through. Look at the moment, we're all going through upgrades and shifts. So you're going to be stuck. It's not you. The whole planet is going through this. You're going through a massive recalibration, upgrade and shift. So anything I can tell you right now is, when you're sitting now, is say thank you for these upgrades, allow them and ask for them. Say thank you for this. beautiful light frequencies and vibrations that are raising my awareness. My body is, is doing such a fantastic job of assimilating these new frequencies, vibrations, and light. I'm raising in consciousness and awareness. I thank you so much. So look at it as a positive and thank them. Thank you for the healing and clearing and showing me what no longer serves me. Ask for it. So you are saying it's happening. So you're intending it, you see. Thank you for showing me what I no longer need to hold on, which doesn't serve me anymore, which is my negative beliefs or whatever. List them out. I'm doing a wonderful job. Thank you for this. So you're claiming it as it's done. I'm healing, whatever you want to do, see. But if you say I'm stuck, you are perpetuating I'm stuck. So you're hiding from something. You're putting that block yourself. Everything I've ever found, what I did was me. There's nothing else. No one else doing it. Trust me. It's you blocking yourself. You putting a thing in front of you or whatever. If you're not ready, there's a reason maybe you're not ready to move. You've got to look at something. There's no rush. See, we expect everything must be the same. It's gone like this, so it's going to stay like that. No. Different phases you're going to go through. So maybe you've got to withdraw some time on your own, then you get pushed, and then you see a lot, and then you'll be cut off. You will have what they call blackout, where you won't be seeing anything. You won't be astral because you're let's say the non-physical part of yourself wants you to focus on something else, because otherwise you're just going to play ET and play astral. Some people are having so much, they're far too stuck in their little astral ET game. Some have chosen to do that in this life and stay there. And they're not going to move, because all they're doing is just sitting every day astral and playing with the ETs. They're not going to progress, you see, in their awareness. They're not going to get out of there. So sometimes you'll be cut off from the astral, what you want to call, and you won't be out. You just see, hang on a second, what's gone? The frequencies change also. Frequency and vibration changes. Everything changes. So you've got to realign and tune into a different, because if you're used to tuning into, say, your guide at this frequency, but now everything's shifted again, you've got to now adjust your frequency to, you see, you've got to seek a different frequency. So sometimes it's for us because we're not progressing, because we're getting stuck in a rut. It's always a reason, always, and it's always for your highest good. And you're doing it yourself anyway. If we think, oh, I'm stuck, or something's wrong, or something, if you say that, remember, you actually manifesting. We've always got to keep that in mind. Very, very important. What we think, what we believe, what we say is, we create it. It will happen, and it will stay there. So if you want to stay healthy, if you want to lose weight, I am looking wonderful and sexy and slim and this and that. My body's in perfect health, whatever. Manifest your body into that perfect shape, health. But it's now, not it's going to be, it is. You see? Okay, people. I've got to go. Anyway, I actually want to schedule a live sometime. I'm not going to put a date on it, but I'd like to, but a nice chat. I want to have a debate with some other people on the awakening path. I'd love to have, because we're all over the world, and as I say, we don't have a guru, and any of us have a personal guru. I'd love to have a chat with people on this path that have reached that, enlightenment story. Yeah. I'd love to have a chat, but I don't know who's out there, and most of these people aren't normally anyway. I don't know if they'll even talk. So I'd love to have a chat with people that have reached that level. And you can share notes. It's like other people do in the astrals, and the ET things. Everyone shares notes depending on. But yeah, it would be, yeah. Not something that's normally done publicly or people know. You know what I mean? But I would really like to. Now you want a good, very high level teacher, not a teacher, but someone who can, that has been there, done that, that knows where you're at. It would be nice. So anyway, it will come, because if you want it, it's going to come. Everything comes from within anyway. So same thing, you ask and intend, it will be given to you. I know it will come. I'm not worried, because everything I've wanted, this whole trip, this whole awakening, everything I've sought and wanted, needed, it has come, and it's time. That video, that confirmation, that channeling, that person, it will come. It just appears. Poof, oh wow, there we are. Or in your meditation, you will be given it at the right time. So I don't stress about anything, because there's a reason and the right time. Sometimes you hold off for a reason, because it's not ready. Otherwise, you'll be charging off, and the other things aren't ready yet. So there's always a reason. So I don't there's no rush, because I know what it'll work through it. I just leave it now. My paradox I'm sitting with now, and my mind's going over, and all these things are churning over, and I'm just going to sit and take some time to myself and meditate and quiet time. It will work itself out. It will come to me. End of story. And then it'll be like, okay. And then I'll be off again until who knows. At this rate, I don't expect anything to stay as is anymore. Because it's like you think, okay, this is it now. And then, you get another whole paradigm shift, and it's like, oh, wow, okay, now that's gone out the window. Now what? So I'm learning even about myself. Yeah, whatever. Or what I'm meant to do in this life, let's see. Because when we actually think we're in control, we're not in control. Our thoughts, we even think about your thoughts. Here's a paradox for you. Those that have reached a high level will know this one. So you'll know the answer. But anyway, here's a conundrum for you. Think about, what's your intuition? Where's your guidance? It comes as thought and knowing. You get that thought knowing, right? Where does that thought pop? Exactly. Thoughts tells you. You ask a question and it comes into your mind. Boof, answer. Exactly. So these things can be fed into your mind and your brain, right? So who are your thoughts coming from? Have you ever thought about that? That's an interesting one. Where do your thoughts? You think your brain generates your actual thoughts? Or your higher self? Because your higher self, intuition, whatever this knowing, seeing comes, can be given to you. You see it. And it does come to you, clairvoyant. You just know sometimes. I ask and I'm like, holy shit, this stuff just comes down, right? From consciousness it comes from. Okay? From all the divine consciousness. Everyone knows you're all connected to Source. There's only one. So Source is feeding us all this stuff, right? So how do you know that all your thoughts are not yours? Isn't that funny? Isn't that interesting? And if you listen carefully, some people slip up and let you know it's not actually. But it doesn't matter. If you listen carefully, Abraham Hicks slips up and tells you. But don't worry about it. Why don't think I'm upset about it? But you don't create your thoughts. So your thoughts are put in your mind for you. Isn't that interesting? There's another power. That's another whole oh, wow. But it doesn't, when you're not at that level yet, you can listen to the information, but it'll go in the one ear and out the other, because you're not at that frequency and resonance. You're not ready, you see. But when you get to that, and I'd heard it before, but it didn't quite click in. And then I was like, hey, ha, 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 ha. So you understand, that's why people say when they reach enlightenment, there's no karma. Why? Is there no karma? Because if you believe you're doing something wrong, right? You're going to pay. What you do comes back to you. If you realize you got no control, it's not you. You got no control over it. You're doing nothing to do with it. What's the problem? You're not drawing. Yeah, there's a whole lot. It's just, oh, never mind. The whole thing is actually just gets more and more wow. It's a fascinating journey anyway. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, because we all source. Like all our little fractals of energy out of the body, there's no separate. Even if you listen to them carefully, they tell you, Cryon, when he channels, he says, actually, because he tries to put it down as we see, they say, they give themselves a name. So we as humans see a being, because that's how we can't understand. We can't understand because at the moment we're still in a linear mind and paradigm, right? So we moved into we're trying to get our head around the multidimensional. So when even Crown tells you he's an energy, he's not a being, he's never in a physical form, there's not one as such, us. They try and tell us, but we just say they call themselves Crown or a being. Abraham Hicks tells you the same thing. She is not a one thing. Energies, we. Right? What's the name? Same thing. There's never a us. We see everything as separate. Ooh, Archangel, he is separate. He's a being, like a human. And when they visualize it, people say, oh, look at the man with the wing. There's a wing. There's a being. There's us. There's a them. There's the same thing. No. Out of the physical vessel, all energy, look around you, right? You can't see it. This is multidimensional. You don't see the multidimensional with the physical eye anyway. All around you, right? But that energy is a mess. You can't see. It's like in the sky. Otherwise, you'd be seeing. You don't see them. It forms one thing, like pixels on a picture, right? Look at the picture. Millions of pixels make up the picture. You don't see them as millions of pixels. You wouldn't be able to see the picture. forms a mirror or ocean, like the ocean forms one body. This is exactly what happens out of the body. We form one mass of energy. It's just joined together. We form one perfect, cohesive mass of energy, which is conscious source. All that is, and it's in everything. So that's consciousness, that is in everything. That's what I'm saying. Can you understand now when they say source can hear and know everything, or God can hear and know everything at the same time? Yes, because that piece of energy, which you are trillions of atoms here, so and so, the tree, the plant, the this, the planet, the ET, everything. And when you get there to experience for yourself, it's very difficult for the brain to understand how it happens, but you will know and you will see, and it's funky, it's really weird. Everything all at once. So you are aware of everything in the universe happening at the same time, and it's not like lots of noise and you can't distinguish. I can't even explain it. That's what I'm saying. How do you explain that to someone? How do you manage to know and hear everything, all that's going on, and a human mind cannot filter that. But out of this human mind, you can see and hear everything. And you literally have to focus on whatever you want. So if I want to focus on every one of you, I knew. Every single you. If I decide to focus on Earth, every person, every house, everything. I could zoom in. Oh, that one looks interesting. I can zoom into your house and I could pick your place to focus on. I'm not joking. Or another planet. It's funky, people. So now you understand why the string theory is corrected, because we're actually all connected. You just see everything as separate, like us. Oh, there's a separate being. There's an ET. There's an angel. No, they're actually, when they're not in a body, there is no one being. Everything is joined. They are one consciousness, one source. As they say, the one consciousness is one consciousness. So all those individual energies work as one divine, harmonious consciousness, not separate. Oh yeah, we'll fight, we'll thinking, blah, 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 same time. Yes, all those little stories, because there's fractals of playing, like dreaming. Never mind, it's so complicated. But when you leave the physical vessel, if you choose to experience that anyway one day, it is funky, people. And believe me, you know what? You can't wait to get back. That's going to really freak you out. You can't wait to get back here. Hell, it's so exciting. When you just all consciousness, you can't wait to play another game. Let's play another, virtual reality. Let's play another whatever. You've got to get to there to see how it's done yourself. You've got to work your way up and you'll see exactly. And you'll be like, oh, fuck. But you can't wait to get back here. Honestly. I was like, oh, I want to get in. I couldn't wait. I was so excited. I couldn't wait to come back. Anyway, never mind. But that's how it works. This is how we and everything is connected, how we can send energy. I can become one with the water and send healing to the water. You actually become part of the water. Your consciousness, you merge with it. It's weird. You actually feel it. You're in the water. It's like you are part, you become. You can merge and tap in and tune into anything. Why? Because you are made up. All that is nothing else. Source is everything. There is nothing else. That black hole is no black hole. The center of your cells, which the science hasn't got to yet. When the science say they keep going in and in center, it's hollow, because it's like the black hole. Their technology yet isn't advanced enough to see what they see, just a dark space like the black hole or your cell. They say, oh, but it's hollow. So they see, that's why it's just, they reckon, if you listen to Gaia and science, the science side, there's a top scientist, I follow him. I've shared some of his stuff. They look at it under what they see from, say, telescopes, our best technology. You look at your atom and cell and they go, and all they can see, they reckon so it's hollow. They reckon it's just, as everything is frequency and vibration, is only energy. Exactly. What are we reading? Our downloads, upgrades? We're reading energy. It's held in the energy, but it's conscious. What they don't see, that is multi-dimensional. That black inside your cells, that hollow, they reckon is hollow. Same with the black hole. They're just not able to see the multi-dimensional yet. It's multi-dimensional. There's nothing there. What they see is black, empty space is multi-dimensional. It's just not visible. We haven't got the technology. We will very soon. haven't got the technology. Maybe we do, but they're not. It's not openly. It's probably held in the military. They get everything first, and then it gets public. So yes, they probably do have the technology for multidimensional. But that's what's inside our cells. The center, the black center of the universe, the so-called black hole, multidimensional. That's space. There's no space. And that's why people, when they follow this red pill truth movement, they're panicking about being trapped to the side. I'm trying to tell them there's no way your soul can be trapped. When you get to the level of awareness, you'll laugh like me, because it's absolutely never going to happen and not possible. Okay. Only when you're playing the game. When you're in these games, it can seem like that. Doesn't matter if you're playing human or ET. Okay. And your souls all go back to source. What you call your souls all go back to source. And they're very well aware that source exists too. Yes. Okay. Everything, all that is source. That's it. And it forms one cohesive divine consciousness. The same consciousness that talks to all of you. You're getting you call your higher self. You see, people think everything is my higher self. Your higher self is an individual. It's separate from mine. No, your higher self is source. And you should know that. Your higher self is part. That's what they tell you. That part that hasn't come to the human body, it's still with source. People say, they always think it's individual. There's my piece, there's my higher self, there's your higher self. No, they're cohesive one. Your higher self, my higher self, all your higher selves are part of source. And they don't think separately. They are one divine consciousness. They have one divine connection, plan, whole. That's why I say, even what people are worrying about on the earth game, your higher selves and mine, if you think that you see them as separate, I've got a higher self, I'm tapping into my higher self, that's source you're tapping into. Your higher self is part of source, isn't it? Yes. All right. And it's not separate. They're all together. That's why I say it's one divine plan. Because all our higher selves are together as one out of the physical. They're just playing different games. When they finish this game and they close this game off, when you say you die or go back, right? You're all together. One big happy family. There's no, and you hear, I can't explain it. You're not in a physical vessel. So there's no hearing, taste, you're nothing. You are energy conscious. You can't see it. It's like, you see it in your third eye when you see source. Who's seen source, right? In your third eye. Experience source. You experience this light. Just light. It's energy and consciousness. People, when they go to near death, what do they see? Pure light and consciousness. That's all they're aware of. And that's it. That's source. Because that's all you are when you die. But under a microscope, or maybe fractals, now science has shown you, you look like a little Merkaba. It's in the shape of a Merkaba. Everything that the universe is, I shared up on my page, the universe is made up of, the foundation of all life, all existence in the universe, the smallest, teeniest atom, cell, whatever, is the shape of a Merkaba. The same thing as Star of David came from. They just didn't understand what it was. They just drew it in a flat thing. It wasn't in proportion. But now scientists show you in the right dimensional space, it's a tetrahedron, whatever they call it, I don't know. But it's a Merkaba. Okay, there we are. And in the center, it's hollow and it's conscious. It's multidimensional, that energy in the middle. Multidimensional. All right, beautiful people. Yes, we are told. That's what I'm saying. Who's telling you? External. See, it's coming from external. This is the human paradigm. Everything we ever believe was fed to us by a mother, the school, someone, a teacher, a news, a media, whatever nonsense. Did it come? If we cut everything out, you wouldn't have half the negative. We wouldn't have half the negative beliefs and fear-based beliefs and rubbish we had if everything had only come in from the divine, not from outside. I mean, I know this is what I'm saying. I laugh at it. I think it's funny. Because people that don't know, don't know. And there's nothing to worry about. Because when they die, they'll find out. Because it doesn't matter. It's only when the game and you're in the game, you think, this is the Maya. You're in the Maya. So you'll believe anything. And you'll be scared. my friend. You'll be good, don't worry. You will be good, okay? Don't you worry. Just do your inner work. Do your healing. Seek that love. Seek the light. Clean up. Do a lot of meditation. Do a lot of inner work. Okay, that's all you got to worry about. The more you drop from within, the higher you will rise. And then you will see, okay, higher rise in frequency and vibration, I would say, and light. That's all you got to worry about. Is those fears, that dark, and that's the half dark and false light and computer and matrix. Don't switch all that nonsense off. It's not serving you one bit at all. It's making you paranoid, fear, and delusion. It's the opposite. It's not feeding you light. There's no light in it. Because light doesn't have fear in it. Doesn't have control. Fear is a control-based thing. Yeah, there we are, lovely people. Not necessarily you don't. That's what I'm saying. You don't find it when you pass. Yeah, but you've got to drop back in. So you play. Oh, it doesn't matter. It's to experience waking up while you're in the Maya. That's the thing. And you don't have to. You get to that level that you don't have to connect back again. You graduate out of the earth game if you want to. You see? If you want to graduate out of the earth game. Did you want to? It's part of the thing. Or you stay, you come back, and you come back, and you come back, and you play, and you work your way up. You've got to get there eventually, so you work your way up. So now what you learn in this life, that's why I say, it doesn't help you following this other nonsense. You're not going to learn anything besides fear and paranoia and staying in this whole what's going on. Ooh, look at that. You're worrying about now. If you learn that, because none of us have gone through that. The East has gone through this esoteric school. None of us have got those teachings. So rather switch off all that and only follow these esoteric teachings like this gurus and Buddhas and yogis and Bashar and Abraham Hicks and all that kind of thing. That's more up with it. And then you will learn. And then what does it say? And then when you drop back in there, as I said before, you might have missed it because I've been on a while now. When you come back to your next carnation with this new paradigm, when you drop back in again, what you gain now, the knowledge you gained and the wisdom on the esoteric and knowledge, soul, spirit, whatever, knowledge, wisdom, and awareness, let's say, consciousness, awareness. You will retain that. You won't forget it your next life like you did before. You used to come back and start from scratch a little bit, but you're higher, a little bit higher. Now, whatever you've retained now, you will retain when you come back. So what level of awareness and consciousness you die with now is what you will start with. So it'll be easier. It won't be as slow as it bloody took us last time. So it's going to be easier, you see. Eventually you'll get to that level of consciousness where you'll be able to. Everybody, what you're trying to do now is get a light body to get the highest frequency of vibration and dimension. That's what most people are trying to do. But they're not going to do it from following any movement and alphabet movement or red pill movement or any of that nonsense. You've got to do the inner work and you've got to go within and follow stuff like that. But that's where you're all heading. Everyone's trying to get there. What are they trying to do? Raise your frequency. Get the highest frequency. Get the new earth. Get the vibration. Get the ascension. What is ascension? Getting there eventually to get to the thing where you don't need the physical vessel anymore. The whole earth will get there eventually. And this new paradigm, you're all heading towards having enough frequency and vibration eventually, but it's going to take a hell of a long time for the whole planet to ascend enough frequency and vibration where you actually will be in a high enough state, like Bashar talks about, some of them are, where you don't need a physical vessel anymore. Because that frequency, light, and vibration, you won't be able to maintain a physical vessel. Oh, we'll just go off and play another game. You know, who knows? We go play another planet, another game. We've done this. But it's been going on for billions of years. You're eternal. I mean, this never ends, eh? You see that circle? They show you this ancient stuff coming up. Everyone says, oh, look there. And so their new discovery with this mythology, their circle, time is in a circle. Doesn't go in a straight line, it's in a circle. So we're going to come around and come around and come around, whatever. And it keeps expanding with every choice and thing. So we're just making, it's infinite. There's no, people think it's 12 dimensions, infinite, because the universe is expanding with every choice and parallel realities we're creating, right? So it's constant expansion. So the dimensions, space and parallel are expanding. Just the game is getting bigger and bigger and more expansive, and it's, you know, the universe is expanding. I mean, we're creating, with we shifting and our nonsense and beliefs, and we're creating our own little funny, weird realities, and some are creating some really funky stuff out there. Whatever they're going to, I don't know what they're doing. There's some real paranoid delusion stuff going on out there. So we're creating all these different parallel realities in the universe. It's constant. Timelines are just going to go on, and this one might jump onto it and whatever. Who knows? It's funky, interesting. Anyway, there we are. That's as much. Okay, I don't think I'd put this up to YouTube. I think it's going to be way too long, this video. Anyway, lovely seeing you all. You're very welcome. Yeah, it's a remembering. It's a knowing. Yeah, it's a knowing. You tap in. You see, there's other. You've probably played those as a fractal of source. That's weird. You're tapping into those. You're remembering it as a being, you know. We can tap into it all, even now. How do you tap into anything now? Just that people think because they can tap into other, like now, because this is where it's a limitation. It's all your belief. You sitting here. So you think, oh, I can tap into ETs and Mars and this species and that. You don't know what timeline they're existing on. Everyone thinks it's happening now, right? I'm tapping into, I'm saying, in related, because we're still in a time nonsense. So we think, okay, we're sitting in this time now. So those ETs are on the same time, or whatever. It's so difficult to explain. Oh. Yeah, it's very hard to try and explain. I can't see what you said there. Sorry, I missed that. Ah, thank you. Yeah, it is amazing. It is fascinating, actually. But anyway, so people want to astral. Start focusing on that. I don't know why they think they can't see after. People have got this illusion that they can only see. Get your frequency up, do your work, and set your intent. If your focus and absolute intent is on that, and you keep doing it in your drive, you really want to, you will see it. So you're able to, if you can imagine, there's no such thing as time, right? Your existence. Well, yeah, I'm just saying from this level. All right. So you're able to then intend to see what it's like when you leave the body and all these things. You can go anytime. So why do you have to, you know what I mean? I asked for all that. I even asked her what the hell. I was so, in the beginning, paranoid and angry and upset and thinking this was a soul trap and we trapped you by these ETs and they've got all this bullshit that's going on out there. When it was first set off, people that started it originally, and never mind. So I bought into that story, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, my soul's trapped here. I'm going to die and they're going to zap me. I've got to find a way out. So I was convinced to find my soul. When I'm dead, I was worried about how is my soul going to navigate it out of this trap around Earth. You know, they've got this grid. Oh my gosh. I bought into all that shit. So I was my thing was, I wanted to know why, first of all, we're here. Why is this cruel and this reincarnation cycle? And I asked, and I was shown, seek and you shall get, people. How much people are so busy following this shit, but are they seeking the answer, solution? No. Because you believe you're trapped, so you will be. Seek the solution. I sought the truth. I asked not people, I asked source. Why do we have to keep reincarnating? It can't be. I was convinced I could break this reincarnation. I thought it was a trap, so I thought, right, I'm going to find a way to break this reincarnation trap cycle. You see? This is the ego. I can do this, and this is all part of the Maya. And I asked Source, and Source showed me exactly why we're here. And I was like, oh, stupid question, a stupid answer. And then I saw, same with those. You asked what happens. You see all these things. So I shared them anyway. And then I went up the tunnel of light. That was, anyway, I've got a inside. Never mind. I'm tired of talking now. Been long enough for tonight. It is interesting. Yeah, seek and you shall find. If you really want it enough and you seek it, and I truly was, my intentions were good. My intentions were, well, save your own ass, because I thought my soul was trapped. And everybody else is like, holy shit, my soul's not getting stuck here. I'm going back to source. I was thinking, there's no ways I was going to be stuck. I want to go back to source of God. That's all I was worried about. You see? That was so funny. Anyway. Raise up out above it, and you'll realize that nothing, you're perfectly fine, you know. You're good. You're very good. But I understand the fear and things, and when you're down there, because I felt that, wow, I mean, I really was. But then I learned not to follow that nonsense anyway. It's resonance and frequency, same thing. What? It's fear. And they're selling you victim. Someone's selling you victimhood. They are doing this, they're controlling, there's bad. And it's division and sides and judgment and hate. What's a spiritual path? Any guru, anyone, what do they teach you, Buddhas? No. So why are you listening to it? Then you know it's not from the light. See? It's the same. It's just part of the mind. Because you'll see, Bashar won't tell you that. A lot of these, and everyone, they won't tell you that. They won't pass judgment. There is none. Because Source won't judge you, me, we're all one. Out of the body, we're all actually literally joined. We're one big consciousness and energy. Like, yeah, what's all this? You just don't see anything. You see? And we work together as one consciousness. Anyway. All right, lovely people. Thank you. No, it's not Scottish. I haven't a clue what my accent sounds like. It used to be very British, and then it was more, I was told, South African, probably. Didn't sound like that though. But I think I worked enough with men with the same accents. I picked it up from them, I think. So my British accent is funny, and that's the weirdest thing, because I get treated like a foreigner in my own country. Although I'm in English, live in England, I don't sound it anymore. And I get treated like that. It's weird. But it doesn't matter. It's also a good experience, because then I get to know how other people get treated. I spent most of my time working abroad, you see. So I was always the foreigner in other people's countries. I spent years and years in Africa, all over the place. So I worked over there for a long, long time. I was in many countries. And you've got to adapt to different culture, different language. And, you know, I never mastered one language, because then I'd move to a complete different country with a different language. I was like, oh, wow. So I got used to being a foreigner. I mean, I was never, because I was always living and working in someone else's country, right? But then I come back to my own country, and no one, you don't have your accent anymore, because you've adapted to all these other countries so they could understand you. You almost take on their accent. So now I come back, I don't sound English anymore. No, not at all. But I get treated like a foreigner in my own country. Like an immigrant. So, which is nice. I get to see how we treat other people firsthand. And not try and sugarcoat it. And I see very clearly the racism that exists in my own country. Very, very. Where others will be in and out. I see it very clearly. Because they're not used to it. You see, that's a good thing of traveling. The more you travel, it's a great education and opening. This idea of borders and nonsense and countries and flags, we will lose it. They're trying to stop it for a reason, because they're trying to keep control, but that is the illusion. It's rubbish. It's absolute nonsense. It keeps us fighting. It keeps us apart. Anything that divides humanity is not good, because we're humans. So this borders, this country nonsense is not good. But there's power, control. See, certain people and money don't want to lose their power and control money. They don't want that. So they're trying. But anyway, there's a lot of agendas that play out there. Doesn't matter. But this is a sad thing. So a lot of people have never traveled. So when you find countries or places where you find people haven't traveled even out of their own town or council, district, whatever you want to call it, county, it's unbelievable. It amazes me, actually, because I've traveled a huge amount. So I found it fascinating when I found people have no clue. They've never even left their own country, never mind county. Or they've even got cliques in their own country. They even got divisions in their own. This amazes me, divisions in their own country. And this is a normal thing. Oh no, it's us, and there's south and the north, and I mean, that's what I show you. This is the level of consciousness we're coming out of, have you noticed, into unity. Now the world's uniting, as people like the awakening path are uniting. They don't care about countries, about this, about race, about color, about anything. Thank goodness. But this is what the world was stuck in. It's a very negative place. And I see it. And I've moved I was born in the south of England, now I'm in the north. It's very different. Yeah, it's very different. It is different. And I see fear and as I say, it's all fear-based, fear and racism. Yeah, but more prevalent here. You don't see it as much in London, because London's very multicultural, and I love London. In the south, a little bit, not as bad. Depends where you are. Depends on, the people also, what you've been taught. People, belief, taught. It's as I say, it's taken on from society. It's people, we're changing. Yeah, it's, but up in the north, it's a little bit, yes, they're not so multicultural, not used to it, and they're very like, because what's been fed to them as well, the belief, the media, the nonsense, you see. This was perpetrated and fed, so it's ignorant, that's all it is. It's sad, it's ignorance, and lack of love, and lack of understanding, lack of a lot of tolerance, everything. We all know. What you want to call 3D, it's not. We're actually already in the 4D. Most people haven't realized. They keep going on about the third dimension. We're in 4D. The planet moved into the fourth dimension. We shifted about a year ago. The actual, and the science knew about it. We've moved into the fourth dimension, people. So we're going to drop the 3D. We're not in 3D anymore. This is why there's awakening happening on the planet. We moved out of the third dimensional space. Some maybe have that consciousness, and their awareness is still, they're very in a dark, dense energy themselves. So their physical vessel is going to have a lot of problems now on the planet. This is the problem, because the planet has moved into the fourth dimension. Those that are holding this very slow, dark, dense energy are really going to physically have problems or not live long. You see, that they don't want to go with the flow, change, heal, do that. They're holding really dark. The vessels won't manage well because the energies and frequencies are much higher of the entire planet. Animal, everything shifted, but they're not shifting with it, you see. And this is a problem. The 3D is not there. It's just a habit. People think it's not there. There are those holding a very slow frequency and vibration in their bodies, in their beings, yes. The planet is in 4D. That's it. She moved. Yeah, the Earth has picked up frequency and vibration. Everything has. The Earth shifted. The planet moved out of the dome. Remember science was talking about it? And that's another thing this other nonsense media was trying to perpetrate some delusional, fear-based story about it as well. Physically, and we know it's part of the thing, the planet moved out into a whole new part of the solar system. And they were paranoid about this. Science didn't know. We were almost, they called us like a dome. Earth was stuck under this almost like energy dome. We're going to that a whole other time. It's like almost a half donut thing. And science knew about this. She moved out of that. It was a new, so no one knew what was going to happen. Well, I suppose they guessed. So well, they had, most people did. Certain, because they've got also remote viewers, people like that in these other divisions. But the average person doesn't. But in our intelligence and people, they knew they have these things. So yes, they've actually been using us long before us. So they knew we were going to move out into this, and the new energies, frequency. They knew all this was going to come. Absolutely. Absolutely. So yes, we have, the Earth shifted out of that whole thing. That's how we got into this. We're in a new service. We're getting hit by new energies, frequencies, vibrations, light. Look at the whole planet. It's a 26,000 cycle, the planet's alignment. So this is what's happening. Everything's changed. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so I made a video. Something came to me. I get these things. Last year, I made quite a few videos. I channeled. I channeled through Source, couple of stuff. And one was that but this is coming, what was going to come. But it's a way ahead of its time. And I said there's some big changes coming. So people are thinking now, of course, not now. Oh, the changes, this whole nonsense and this going on outside and media, the reset, and nothing to do with that. This is coming down the line. It was channeled about a lot of people leaving the planet, but not because of that. It's people will die younger. I say that they don't want to change their energies, they can't adjust or move up fast enough because of the Earth won't sustain life. You can't put something, that's why certain other things aren't on our planet either, because if they're on a different frequency of vibration, our planets are way too low, they will not survive on it. Same thing. It'll do damage to the body. Same with our astronauts. Look at our astronauts. When they go into space, They come back physically changed, no joke, because they haven't figured out that they can't leave Earth's magnetic field. The body, this physical vessel, what you say, is very attached to Earth's magnetic field and in tune with it. If they come out of Earth's magnetic field, it physically, like the astronauts, affects their body. They changed. I think they got shorter. There was some issue with it. They realized, oh, there's a problem. NASA realized there was an issue, that they've got to recreate Earth's magnetic field or something or whatever if they want to go into space. They're going to have an issue. This is the same thing, you see. So now Earth has shifted into a new frequency and vibration, but those that are holding very dark, dense energies, frequency, vibration, they are going to be battling now in this shift. They're going to get ill, health problems, pains, this and that, and whatever, mental issues, whatever else. And they will. So it won't just, people will just live shorter lives too. They won't sustain. Anyway, there's a whole video about it I channeled this, I don't know, anyway. It's going to come, that's our future, that's the future. All right, people. So we've got some interesting things are going to, yeah. There's some interesting things but let's see. But you see, there also timeline changes. We shifted again. So I'm saying, there's this change. So when I channeled that might have been on a different, who knows if that timeline was on that. You've got parallel realities going, and we keep moving between them. So, shit knows. But yeah, we have shifted. And I know, and I'm seeing it now, the physical effects of it in some people already. I'm like, ooh, they're having some real problems. So a lot of people, of course, they're going to say, they're going to, depending on, people can take that knowledge and manipulate it and say people are dying for other reasons as well. But not actually. It's energies and frequencies too. Anyway, yeah, they're holding a lot of dark, dense energy. Yeah, anyway. It will be a problem, yeah. Can you imagine? Your body's going to not. It's not. You're now sitting on a planet that's vibrating here, and you're vibrating something else. You're not. So you're not in sync. It's going to cause a problem. Absolutely. No. This I'm not going to go. It's a whole long story. I remember that was set up by the ETs. Actually, it was that was set up along. I actually saw them. I actually did a couple of astrals about that. It was fascinating. Earth was put in like a stable energy for a while. It was set up. They were all wondering what happened, where that came. I saw them actually do that. So those visions came to me. I've got a couple of those things about Earth back then, and a whole lot of things, and whatever. That was set up a long time ago. Yeah, interesting. Very. Anyway, all good. And that's now changed, yeah. Anyway, yeah, it was interesting. There's some weird shit you get to see when who knows where the stuff comes from. You just get shown all kinds of things. There's no flat Earth. The Earth's not flat. That's also stories, and a lot of that story's been out there for a hell of a long time. No, everything's science, and look at the energy. Look at planets. If you watch them, and even now we got better visions. You see how everything's spinning. It's not solid. If you look at stars, you see it carefully. You see that now you can see it's actually moving, and it's not even a solid thing. It moves and changes its frequencies, vibrations you're looking at. So what you see is a solid star up there. If you pay close attention, in some of the latest pictures, close-up ones, you'll see it's oscillating. It's vibration frequencies. It's just, they say there's no mere matter. It's vibrating in such a thing, it looks like matter. And it's moving and it's changing colors and shapes. It's not just a solid thing. So energy's in a circle. No, there's no flat thing. This is not 3D linear. There's no flat, because energy doesn't. Anyway, the Earth is not flat. That's another. Yeah, there's stuff out there that you can feed anyone anything when they're waking up. If there's a lack of trust or delusion or fear, or there's something which is most people, because that's where we came out of, that you will trust nothing or believe everything is a conspiracy or someone's out to get you, or they can twist or no, it's not flat. But anyway, never mind. All right, people, go and have a look at the space station, and you can look down as well. It's interesting, but it doesn't matter. It is not, but it's lovely. It doesn't. No, anyway, yeah. That's a whole another ball game. If you just work your way up, And then you will have knowledge. You won't have to ask anybody because you will see and know the truth of everything. So what's the problem? But if you're going to try and follow other people, you're never going to get your way up. Oh, the earth's flat. Oh, this is that. Oh, there's the what knowledge are you gaining from that? For your soul or for evolution or for, nothing. Just drama and this. So if you work your way up and work on your ascension, work on your increasing your light frequency, vibration, and conscious awareness, the spiritual side, you won't need to ask anybody anything. Okay? Because everything, if you want, you can ask yourself, you call your higher self, it will show you anyway. You can travel to anything in any place or time, anything you want to know. I've even gone up before the spaceship sometimes, before Elon Musk shot it up there, focusing on, I would see exactly the day before they've even gone up, because you can remember there's such thing as time, and I saw exactly what the spaceship was going to do, how they did it, land, everything the day before they did it. So when I was watching it on TV, it was like, oh wow, I saw all of this already. I saw everything. It was like watching it, like wow. So I had a replay when I'm watching it live with NASA. I was watching this SpaceX launch, whatever it was. I watched it on NASA or live, whatever, SpaceX, some live stream. But I'd already seen the entire thing myself through, remote viewing. Weird. And it was like, oh shit, I saw all this shit. So I knew exactly what happened, and it was weird. It was like from inside the spaceship, though. It was inside where the astronauts were. I was viewing it from where they were sitting, basically. It was weird. It was funky. Anyway, never mind. So you can view anything. Okay, anywhere, anytime, out of a body, other planet, whatever. All right, enough. Good night, lovely people. Bye.